What is up, everybody? Merry Station. Happy holidays, everybody. We are back for PCP Movie Night. This is the penultimate PCP Movie Night for 2021 until we return with a slam bang fantastic lineup for 2022. But tonight, by popular demand, tonight and next week, we're doing unconventional interpretations of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol in the spirit of the holiday season. And tonight we're doing the Muppet Christmas Carol from 1992. This was actually the first Henson Company movie that was produced after the death of Jim Henson. So it had a lot of emotion already going on behind the scenes. And holy cow, does this movie really, really freaking work? And some people would argue that this is the best cinematic interpretation of A Christmas Carol that there has ever been. Is that true? I don't know, but we have a panel of people to talk about it with us tonight and try to dissect into this movie, including our good old buddy, Manny from Tomorrow Cinema.
Station. I cannot wait to dive into this. This is one of my childhood favorites, brother.
Yes. This was my first time watching it, but if I had watched this when I was a child, this would have been one of my childhood favorites for sure. Like, this movie has it all, man.
So
absolutely good. Great stuff. Speaking of great stuff, it's Jelani.
What's up, guys? Good to see you, Station.
Yeah, super good to see you, brother. And yeah, speaking of good to see you, it's good to see you, Brooks. Station.
Hi.
Hey, man. You excited to talk about Muppet Christmas Carol?
Yeah.
Yeah? Have you seen this one before? Did you grow up with it?
Yeah, I'd seen it. I think the last time I saw it was when I was in middle school, like 6th grade, I think.
Okay.
So it's been a while.
This is a long time ago, Brooks. Not to get you depressed or anything. It was a long time ago. All right, so this was directed by Brian Henson. Is that Jim Henson's son or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm assuming. All right.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was the first one produced after the death of Jim Henson. It was a big deal. It kind of brought in the Muppets for the 90s generation, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that, like the Muppet Treasure Island, like the Muppets Take Manhattan, where all those were like 90s-ish, right? But it's like
Muppets Take Manhattan was before this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right before. So there's like, it's a generational thing, right? And these movies like kind of ushered in some of the other things. Like, this is what a lot of people think of when they think of the Muppets. For me, I think of the Muppet Babies. You know, I was a kid in the 80s. I loved the Muppet Babies, all that jazz. Me personally, watching it for the first time as a grown-ass man, freaking loved it. Heartfelt, like true to the nature of the story, an incredibly economic and efficient way of storytelling, adding in Gonzo as Charles Dickens and Rizzo the Rat to kind of be like the narrators and stuff. Like, holy cow, Michael Caine, who said that he was going to play the role, he said this at the time, he's going to play the movie as if he was working with the Royal Shakespeare Company. And honestly, the Muppets probably more of a big deal than the Royal Shakespeare Company. But I was blown away. I was kind of looking forward to it, but I thought it'd be cheesy and dated. Bruh, this is timeless. This does Charles Dickens so proud, because Charles Dickens is a very boring, dry, dull writer. If you ever try to read his work, right?
Great Expectations.
So yeah, could you imagine Muppets Great Expectations? Now that'd be something I could get
That'd
into.
be pretty good.
Manny, thank you for
Oh.
being here tonight. What do you think about
Dude.
Muppet Christmas Carol? Your history and your experience this year.
It's a movie I saw in the theater when I was a kid. So like my mom snuck me in. It was so fun. It was a good film. And then we bought it on VHS. And this is a perennial, if that's the right word. I never know because I don't do horticulture, but it's one we watch every year. All right, so
It's
it's either an
perennial.
annual or
Yeah.
a perennial. Yeah, I do that every year. We watch this. My kid,
Gross.
this is my son's first year watching it, and he was zoomed in. He loved this almost as much as Star Trek: The Prodigy. So I'm thinking he has decent taste.
Wow.
So yeah, dude, he was zeroed in. I love this movie. I love this movie. And like the idea of using Muppets nowadays, they do adaptations of all kinds of stuff, and they're always wink at the camera. They're always goofy and over the top. This film, the times when it does the camera winks, is smart. Michael Caine playing it straight was such a smart idea. This whole film is a great film that just happens to be a Muppet movie. So I really, really, really love it.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like it just happens to be a Muppet movie, right?
Yep.
Because it doesn't. I mean, it has all the Muppetisms in there, right? But at the same time, it's like a very straight up done Christmas Carol interpretation, right?
Yep.
And a pretty decent musical. Which, by the way, I forgot. I didn't have time. I wanted to check out Bella's song. Apparently, that got cut out since when they transferred it to HD because they only had it on video or something like that. So I don't know. Julaney, what do you think about the Muppet Christmas Carol?
Yeah. This is like the first time I've seen it. And I was blown away as well. This is a fantastic film. I mean, as Dylan would put it, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's beautifully told. You are correct in saying that Michael Caine's character plays it straight for the right reasons. It is a stage play. It's basically a stage play. It's what Scrooged was doing, was this actual setup. And it's told for children. It's told for adults. It's timeless. It doesn't feel dated. It does not at all. You don't get that. You don't get that raw sense of, this is goofy. We need to play this for laughs. And it's not played like that. I mean, it does have its moments. It takes a lot to make, I guess, puppets look realistic enough to talk to humans. It's so weird. But the transition is fantastic. The music's all right. I love how the Muppets actually look. Well, as we get to our favorite characters, I will get you my favorite character, hands down. In this, as far as especially the looks department, you almost nailed it on two occasions, but I'm giving it one over the other. But we're getting there. But I enjoy this film a lot. I was surprised.
Nice. I like how Julaney's overall thoughts to start each show are always kind of like a good rundown of what's to come. I really like that. Teasing out. Speaking of teasing out, it's Jay Strick. What's up?
Station.
What?
Mary Station. Good to have you here, buddy.
It's
all right.
Marley and Marley.
Ooh.
Speaking
Robert.
Speaking of looking spooky, Brooks, what'd you think of the Muppet Christmas Carol?
I thought it was all right. I couldn't help but compare it to like my favorite version, which was the George C. Scott one from back in the day.
Okay.
But I mean, it's still good. It's still a good telling, but I think like the Muppets, and they kind of downplay a lot of the darker elements of the story and kind of detract a little bit from kind of the more spookier aspects of it. Like especially like the Jacob Marley and and there was a thing with the ghost of Christmas Present where he had two daughters that it was like a weird creepy thing from other versions that was cut out of this one. But I mean, as the Muppets, the Muppets bring their own thing to it. it is. It's a bit more lighthearted. It's but it's still, in essence, it's a Christmas Carol, but
Right.
with
But bruh, you
Kermit the
realize that
Frog.
this is made for kids, right? You're not gonna like cut the throat of Fozzie baby. Like
Why not?
I mean, you could.
You know what though? Brian Henson, after watching Happy Time Murders, he might be down for that if he ever gets to make his director's cut. I'm just
There is dark elements to this movie, like when the doll Christmas past whatever shows up, and he's like, "Who are you?" She's like, "I'm your salvation." I was like, "Oh my god, that's dark."
How is that dark?
I mean, I think it's dark for like the audience,
Yeah.
the main general audience that it's intended for. But I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, it cuts some stuff out, some of the more like spooky stuff, more the scary, more the heavy stuff. But like, I mean, it's still
for
like
kids, man. Y'all supposed to freak them out. God dang, it's Muppets.
it's like,
They're freaking Muppets.
why are you harshing our
Okay.
mellow, bro? Why are you coming in here trying to be super critical on Muppet Christmas Carol? Nah, we're just kidding, man. Brooks's points are valid. It does if you're trying to look at it, comparing it to other adaptations, and that's one of the questions we posed at the beginning of this program: was, is this the greatest adaptation of A Christmas Carol? And Brooks is saying that for him, it cuts out a lot of stuff, kind of takes some of that impact away, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Plus,
I
it's
still
just a
like
bunch
it.
of
I
fucking
still think
Muppets.
it's great for what it is, but I don't know. It's not my favorite.
Okay. Jay Strick, what do you think, man? Bring the mood back up.
Please.
What is it? Where are we at? Overall thoughts? Just overall thoughts on the movie? Yeah, I adore this movie. This is probably top 2 favorite Christmas movies of all time. I love Michael Caine as Scrooge. I think they capture Jim Henson's vision just perfectly with all the Muppets and his brothers involved. The team is solid. Like Frank Oz produced a lot of it and played a lot of the puppets. That's the voice of Yoda and puppeteers him and all that. So it's just legendary.
Yeah.
The crew a part of it, and I have a lot of fun with it. Something about watching the Muppets and the musical aspect is just, if I feel joy when I watch it, and that definitely comes to the screen. They bring that, and just seeing Scrooge's transformation, man, like he's so cold-hearted, and he's just, by the end on the last ghost, he's like pleading to change, so
Yeah.
it's cool to see for sure.
For what it is, it does its job fantastically well. And Michael Caine is one of the big reasons, but also I think that those Muppets, puppets are puppets and all that shit, but the Muppets, they have life, right? And we know those characters, and like, just in the one bit, to see, first of all, it's cool to see which Muppet plays which character, right? And it was also cool to see like just the ones that they didn't really have space for, but they all wound up in there, like the Swedish Chef, Monster, and the band. I love the band. Like, they're some of my favorites, right? So I love all these little
triangle.
Yeah.
He's so bored.
Yeah.
But
Like,
those little
he's
bits-
gonna bust out. He's gonna bust out.
those little bits make it charming. And one thing I do like about the movie, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but very much so, and I think that this was a Jim Henson kind of tenet for him and his company, is don't coddle kids. He believes, respect the emotional maturity of even a child. Don't hold anything back. And like, obviously being played down to kids doesn't mean that you necessarily lose something in translation. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily, I don't know. It's like, it still works, but just on a different level. And it works so well on that level. This is a kid's movie that I enjoy. And I don't typically, contrary to popular belief, really like a lot of kids' movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever the new Pixar movie is, I usually don't even care. And they're usually phenomenal films when I eventually watch them. But this is something I thoroughly enjoyed. Like, I loved it. This is going to be on the Christmas rotation now. I sandwiched it between Black Christmas, Muppet Christmas Carol, Silent Night, Deadly Night, and the Black Christmas remake in 2006. And it fit for me.
Weird bunch. I like it.
So, but it's the Muppets, it's the characters, it's the performances. Let's highlight some of our favorites. What do you think, Manny?
My favorite character in this, gosh, it has to be, I don't want to steal the best one, but it's got to be Michael Caine's Ebenezer Scrooge. He does such a great job. I mean, how hard would it be to have to act opposite felt. You know what I mean? And he doesn't miss a beat. He gives them all the rage that he needs to give them. He gives them all the heart that they need to give him. I feel like they did it a disservice cutting out what they did with Bella in the film, because Michael Caine has some really great moments in that song. If you had the VHS as a kid, man, I don't know why focus group said that song was too boring for kids, because every kid I knew that loved that movie loves When Love Is Gone. That song is phenomenal. And the putting and in that song, because right now if you watch the theatrical version, it's just like it cuts away and then they're all crying and we don't know what they're crying about other than, oh, she left. It's like, but Michael Caine anyway has so many moments to shine. He does such a good job. Sometimes when you watch, and if you've done A Christmas Carol on stage with enough actors, you like, sometimes Scrooge's transition in the final act can seem really abrupt, because there's some scenes before he changes that make you seem like maybe he hasn't changed. Michael Caine's transition seems very natural, very organic throughout. And I freaking love it. I love it. He did such a great job. This film was originally offered to George Carlin, and that would have been the Winky Muppets, made for TV version. Casting someone like Michael Caine, such a great decision. Brian Henson allows him to work in a little bit of that darkness. I know Brooks is saying it's missing, and it is. It's not. There is no, the boy is ignorant, so the girl is want. Beware them both, but most of all, beware the boy, for on his forehead is written doom. That's great prose.
Okay, drop a bar, Manny.
It doesn't fit. It would be too dark for kids. But Brian allows just enough darkness, and the way Scrooge plays it is just it toes it walks the razor's edge, and he does such a great job. And if I don't shut up, I'm going to keep rambling. But I love Scrooge.
No.
Well, and Michael Caine is the anchor to that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think to anchoring it in kind of a reality and into that fantastical, ghostly world that Dickens kind of created, right? Super cool stuff. What about you, Jelani? Favorite characters?
Well, wow, you stole mine. Thanks, bro. No,
It's paying you back from Meteor Man.
Sounds fair. Touche. But
I promise my revenge will not be swift or entertaining, but when it strikes.
Really, bro? It's awesome.
But
I would say, as far as like, I look at the Muppets as a technical thing. How they made the Muppets. What Muppet looks cool to me? That's how I treated this movie. Which one looks the best? And I have two, but I'm gonna pick one over the other, and it's just very small. And it's the ghost of futures to come, or to what is it?
The ghost of Christmases to come.
Christmases to come. That is the scariest thing, and I don't know what you're talking about, Brooks, but that was dark. As far as the finger pointing.
Okay. You fucking open your closet in the middle of the night and see that there. You let me know how that goes.
It's made so well, and if somebody came at me like that, I'd run the other direction. It was scary. It's not my favorite section. My favorite section is the Christmas present with Tiny Tim and all that stuff. I love that. I don't know. Tiny Tim always got me in the Christmas Carol because I was like, oh, the little kid's getting times.
This is the first time where I actually felt empathy for Tiny Tim, to be honest.
Yeah, and it felt like a hole was missing when you saw him. He's not there, and how the family reacts when Cratchit comes home, and it's like the saddest thing, and I'm like crying, man. It got me, but that section was good. But Present, I love Present with Tiny Tim. It tells that story, and Present was going to be my favorite because of his size. The way they made that Muppet, he was huge at the very beginning, and they struck him down. It didn't look cheap.
The puppetry on him is amazing.
Yeah, man. He looks great. It's like Hagrid. He reminded me a lot of Hagrid.
How's that look better than the turtles? Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
right.
That's so weird. It's so weird, especially the turtles on tour.
Yeah, not saying that the turtles look bad. I'm just saying, how does that look better?
How does that look better? It just looks insane. And the way they made these is, felt does a beautiful thing. And I chose the Ghost of Christmas is to Come.
Christmas yet to come. Yeah.
Christmas yet to come. I can never say it right, but he's such a scary character, and I enjoyed that performance. I just like the simple gestures of death.
Yeah.
I like that. I like how he shows Scrooge, if he doesn't act right, this is what's going to happen. And it was so easy for Scrooge to do all these things, but because he was such a miser, such a pain in the butt. And by the way, just on a side note, Scrooge McDuck is my favorite of all Ebenezer Scrooges.
Mickey Christmas Carol's pretty good, man.
Yeah, Mickey's Christmas Carol is awesome. I saw that in the theater when I was a kid. That's my favorite. I'm sorry. It'll always be my favorite.
Well, you might have to do that next year, man.
It's always my favorite. So,
I really like how I always called him the Ghost of Christmas Future, and I like it. In this one, he kind of looks like the hooded one from Bone, Jeff Smith's Bone.
Yeah,
like I get that vibe because the opening of the hood is so like so tall,
oversized, tall. Yeah, it's very imposing. It's huge.
A Muppet way of doing it.
It's a Muppet, and it makes sense that it would be scary for kids. If I saw it as a child, I'd be a little bothered by that.
As a 40-year-old man, you know which one scared the fuck out of me this time? Or this is my first time watching it. The Ghost of Christmas Past was the creepiest damn thing, bro.
That's not a child.
I could not quite figure out what uncanny valley I was staring at, bro, but it was odd. And I was just like off. I was like, I am uncomfortable.
The scariest part about it is knowing that that's a fucking Muppet. Like there's a puppet of that was soaked in a tank of baby oil to make it float like that, shot in a green screen. Like that's a physical thing, not some CG thing. Like that thing is in some warehouse somewhere, and there's a Five Nights at Freddy situation.
It's in my closet for show and tell.
About to happen here.
That's a good pick, though, Jelani. I think he's creepier in Scrooge, though. We'll talk about that next year. Next week, actually, I should say. Brooks, you got any favorite characters?
I actually like the Ghost of Christmas Past. I like that she had that kind of. She kind of, it was like at the time she felt like super creepy looking, but at times she was kind of adorable. Like when she reaches out and like she has her tiny little hand, it's like, oh, but then it like, I don't know, it's so weird because it's like, is she cute or is she like extremely frightening?
Yeah,
and I just can't make up my mind.
I thought we've all had at times in our lives.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like her voice is very, kind of cutesy too. So
you got
that combined with like
past,
her really
man.
this kind of like weird, I guess uncanny valley-ish type look she has to him.
You cracking me up.
I think I liked her out of all the ghosts the best.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
So that's your favorite character?
She kind of had the creep factor that I was looking for from the other versions. It all just went into the...
Well, the Ghost of Christmas Present was never creepy. He's never the creepy one, right?
Nah.
I think it's an interesting, creepy idea. I love the way they showed him aging through the day. Mm-hmm. Like that was really...
That was the sad part. I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell until the end. It was like all gray hair all of a sudden. And I was like, oh no, he's dying. It was so sad.
What about you, Jay Strick?
Oh man, there's so many good ones. I mean, Gonzo and Rizzo, the rat, they really carry the film because they're the narrators. But that Rizzo was killing me, man, with the bits. I love that moment when they're talking about Scrooge's talking about how he was the only child, and then he looks over to him. He's like, "Did you have any brothers and sisters?" And he's like, "I had like 3 million brothers and sisters." And I thought it was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was great.
But I love that. I really like the Marleys, Scrooge's dead business partners. They're classic. There's so many. The Tiny Tim is just adorable and breaks your heart. Kermit, yeah. I mean, I can just go on and on.
Well, I'm glad you didn't because you stole all mine, so that's fine.
I love this movie.
No, I do.
One, dude.
I love Gonzo and Rizzo. Rizzo's probably my single favorite.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was cracking up. And I love the earnestness of Gonzo. They made a really good like straight man, odd man comedy couple, right?
Yeah.
And I love one of my favorite bits in the whole damn thing is when Rizzo is at the end. He's like, "This is getting too scary for me, man. Let's dip out." And she says, "Yeah, we'll be back at the end of the third act." And then they show up, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what's up,
They show
yo?"
up. Yeah.
I love
I
when
like
Riz-
that. But,
I love when
They
Rizzo
fly
goes through
with
the
them.
bars. At the,
Yes.
after
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you can fit through the bars. It's just
all of it's fun, man. The icicle bit, like,
Yeah.
it's just
On the goose.
it's got charm to
Yeah.
it. I really like it. My favorite Muppet characters, period, are the two heckling critics, you know.
Yeah.
So I love the interpretation of the Marley brothers.
Oh,
I really like that. I love their song. That was fantastic stuff. So let's talk about the style and the structure of the film, man. The work with the Muppets is amazing. At this point, I mean, this is like peak level Henson Company, right? Sadly, it was after the passing of Jim Henson, but like they had been at this game for a while. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they did it. And it feels cinematic. It doesn't feel like a cheesy TV or direct-to-video Christmas special or anything like that. This feels cinematic. The camera moves. We're seeing this amazing color palette. It's very bleak, and there's only spots of color with the Muppets at first. Then you notice after the turn, when Scrooge pushed on that scarf, the whole town gets bigger and brighter and things like that. So the production design, the stage, the sets, the Muppets, the way it's in shot is fantastic. And the structure of it, and using Charles Dickens, Gonzo adds Charles Dickens with Rizzo the Rat as a device to kind of give you some exposition and truncate the story a little bit and make it a little bit more snappy for a child's attention, absolutely works for me. What do you think about the style and structure and effects of the film, Manny?
Well, what's surprising to me watching special features now is how much of this film is still practical. When Kermit is walking, they're puppeteering that shit and spinning a drum to make it look like he's walking on the snow. Like that's insane to me. Like because nowadays it just seems like it'd be a couple of keystrokes, but no, it took a lot of work to make that happen. I think that Brian was really, really good. I don't know how much of it's Brian, how much of it is the cinematographer, but the use of the muted color palette and the blue, almost everything is lit with like blue light, makes the Muppets more realistic. They're not super day glow, right? Like if you watch the Muppet Babies cartoon right now on Disney Junior, you know, they glow pretty much now, and like this keeps them a little more grounded as a frog bookkeeper can be. That's what we have in this film. Using the Muppets in this way was genius. We have so much of history and like transferable charm and love for these characters. Like this is the most connected to like Bob Cratchit I think I've ever been, right? And you were saying that with Tiny Tim, because these are characters we know. Like a lot of that transfers over right with them. Yeah. And I thought that was really,
How
really
dare
smart.
you be mean to Kermit the Frog and his little baby kid?
Yes. You know, there's enough jokes in it that go over kids' heads but are still funny. Like our assets are frozen is hilarious to me every time they say it. The music,
right, yeah.
This is great music, and Gonzo and Rizzo as the narrators, like Robbie was saying. How genius is that? And it breaks my heart that they pair Gonzo up with Pepe now that they fired Steve Whitmer, you know, the guy that played Rizzo. So they pair him with Pepe, and Pepe is not. Rizzo is still like grounded enough of a rat that like him and Gonzo play well off each other. Pepe is crazy and Gonzo is kind of crazy, so they don't play as well. This is the best duo in the Muppets, and this is, I think, their crowning achievement, their best moment.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't know. I love it. I love it. The music is
Isn't that
top notch.
cockroach though?
He's a prawn.
Ah,
He's
yes.
a prawn.
I thought it was some kind of bug.
Yeah.
A delicious bug.
Speaking of delicious bugs, Jelani, what about you? What do you think about the style, structure, and effects?
I really like it. Like I said before, it's set up like a stage play. It feels very lived in. Like you know that they're on the streets of like London town, and you get that you get
London
that feeling
town?
wherever they are.
Where's London town?
Near Londinium.
Otisburg?
Otisburg.
But yeah, Chinatown.
It's very lived in. It's like I love the special effects. I like how the Muppets are presented. Like it does take a lot of work to be a puppeteer and to get the cues correct and have Michael Caine play straight to them. It's very I don't know. It's fun to watch. It's very quick because I was like, when I first did this, I was like, why are we doing this cheesy ass movie? What the hell? And I was like, I was gonna trash it. And then I sat there for a minute and I watched it and I was like, wow, I like Scrooge's transition throughout this whole film. Like he's a very mean miser and he's like, you feel it. He's not Scrooge, but you get that he's not a nice guy. And when they ask for it was a Benson Honeydew and what's his name? And Beaker. And they come in and asking for the money for charity, and how he's so evil and it plays so well. And it's like you tell how much of a miser he is. But then as the ghost start to show to him as it transitions through it, and how his heart just changes. Yeah. And you can just tell it. And it's a great arc. It tells that he's changing, and he's changing for fear of death, but at the same time for fear of others, not being able to benefit from him holding back. Yeah. And this is about a person not holding back, and it tells a great story of that through Dickens anyway. But the way the Muppets tell it, oh man, I'd show this if I had kids. I'd show it to them. It's such a heartwarming tale, and it's such a moral lesson. And I think it's played well. It's got the right amount of levity. It's got the right amount of just feeling within the scenes as you go through this. It's lit well. It's pretty. The special effects are fantastic. Yeah. Just top notch for me. For this being 1992, I was proud of this. I was very proud of this. I don't know. The Hellraiser Hell on Earth. What year was that?
91, 92, something like that.
Yeah, so it was in 90? The same around the area, and
you're comparing it to Hell on Earth.
Yep.
Yeah, I see it.
That's how we do it. See, that's how we do it here. My stretch was weird, but it made sense.
Hey, man,
but that's how I feel, man.
Doesn't matter if the stretch is weird as long as it gets to where it needs to go, right? Speaking of going where it needs to go, Brooks, what do you think about the style and structure of the film?
Well, it's definitely a Muppets movie, and I think that's probably this movie's strength. Actually, is the Muppets. When the Muppets are just being the Muppets, and the live action parts, like Michael Caine and whoever played his love interest, like they don't feel out of place, and like I like how they set up in the beginning that it's like the town is made up of both Muppets and regular human people. So, you'll have like a bunch of rats working for Scrooge, and then his nephew will come in who's like just a regular dude.
And how weird too, because there's like horses, and then there are Muppet horses. So there's real
food
animals.
It's Pluto and
Never
Goofy.
Singing grapes.
Yeah, it's like Narnia, right?
Like that's what Rizzo said, right? Never. My mother told me never to eat fruit that sings or something.
Like there's some melons on a cart that are like crying out, "We're being stolen!"
Yeah, yeah.
That is so weird.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like the rules. What are the rules for this universe? Like, I don't know.
You gotta ask Aslan. He's the only one that really knows.
Remember, these guys were raised in a tiny room by a pair of legs. Like connects to every conceivable dimension.
Okay.
The Muppets do not bend to the rules of science.
You remember Muppet Babies? They would open up a closet and they're in all of a sudden Star Wars.
Yeah, or you'd have like a scene from Labyrinth.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. Yeah. Oh my God, it was great. Speaking of Muppet Babies, Jay Strick, what do you think about the style and structure of the film?
That was a good transition. I like that. I think it's perfectly paced. I love the movie. That nothing feels out of place to me. I think they do a great job, as all of you said, about transitioning Scrooge from disliking the character, just you genuinely kind of feel bad for him. You realize he never had a true childhood because he was too focused on the wrong things, and we'll get into more of that, what the movie means to you, because there's a lot of different things you could take away from A Christmas Carol. But yeah, man, I think they slayed this. I didn't realize this was 92. Yeah, Santa slayed it.
Nice.
Hey. I really love the way, dude, there's so many good scenes, man. I was just thinking about that freaking, when Kermit's asking if they could have more coal because it's cold in there. And then the little rats are right there. And Scrooge is like, nah, you're not getting any. And they all they turn into like little like Hawaiian dancers or something.
Yeah. Like, what's up with that? But whatever.
Wave. Yeah, the cultural appropriation. As an islander, I was offended. No.
Same.
Outrage! We got to march.
Nice. Now, this was a fun revisit, man. I think it's structured very well. I mean, the pace works. I love the framing devices and with the narration, and it's making them a part of the story, and I love it. And kind of breaking the fourth wall every once in a while. Like, well, I'm the author. I'm omniscient, you know, and like things like that. Like real funny, kind of smart humor geared towards kids. Me and Strickland watched Ghostbusters Afterlife like last week. And like every fucking trailer was like a kids movie. Man, I feel very bad for kids today. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't think that. Yeah, man, they don't make smart kid movies like they used to.
Not anymore.
They still make them. They're out
still
there.
Some good ones. Yeah.
I remember that. What was it? Kubo and the Two Strings. That one's really good.
Oh, that's dope.
Right.
I was just thinking about that today.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Gosh,
that's
I showed that to Kyrie. We took her to the movies when I don't know if it was when it just came out or if it was at the Dollar Theater, but we took her to see that and she didn't care for it that much, but she loved Coraline. So I was like, I was heartbroken because I really wanted to watch that instead of watching other shitty kids movies. And but she came around. It took a while to break that yoke, but once that yoke was broken, she watches the hell out of some Kubo now. Thank goodness.
Nice.
And now all I want to do is watch fucking Encanto and other stuff. But it's all good.
There's good ones. There's Wreck-It Ralph. I like Wreck-It Ralph.
The first boss, actually the second boss baby. I watched the trailer and I was like, this is gonna suck, and it was actually pretty good too. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, so the music is done by Miles Goodman in this film. And Miles Goodman, you may remember from such films as Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Big fan of that film, also starring Michael Caine. And starring Bill Murray, who's in Scrooged, that we're talking about next week. We got What About Bob? So there you go. The score of the movie is... I love that movie. The score is that like late 80s, early 90s whimsical cinematic kind of flow to it, but Christmassy. And then there's the actual songs that are part of the musical aspect of it, of which my favorite is the Marley song. Like, Marley and Marley. Like, I love that whole bit. It was great. The chains, it all looks cool. And so that's my favorite musical piece. But the score itself, I mean, it gets the job done for what it's trying to do. What do you think about the music, Manny?
I love almost every song on this soundtrack. I even the stuff that got cut, like you got the Ultimate Edition soundtrack. I love everything. Bless Us All is kind of boring. I mean, it's earnest and it's
the
happy.
last one?
No, that's the one with Bless Us All, we
Oh.
gather here. It's like it's very earnest, but it is a little slow. It feels like Christmas is a absolute banger. The Ghost of Christmas Present song, and When Love Is Gone, the one that you probably didn't get to hear if this was your first time watching it, is so good. And Michael Caine, there's a point where it's a duet, even though it's a memory, and you can see him pining for what he didn't get to have and realizing that now as an old man, and like it's so effective and so good. And Michael Caine can't carry a tune in a bucket. And that actually helps because it shows just how how far out of reach that is now, because he has gotten so old. He is, that it shows the transition of time, the fact that his voice is so craggly and shitty. It was just, oh man, I love that song so damn much. Marley and Marley, the very end when they're dragging them to hell, that's dark as shit. Oh, you know what I mean?
Not dark enough for Brooks though, man.
They fade.
Yeah.
It's not quite hell on earth.
It's no DC universe.
From their heads and have their jaw drop off.
Gosh, it's just so good. And then cutting that song, and last time I'm gonna talk about that damn song, but cutting that song doesn't make sense because Scrooge sings a refrain from it at the end. That song he sings at the end is a reworking of that song, and you didn't get it at the beginning. So
wait, did I miss why they cut the song?
Twitch says it was because when they upgraded it to HD, they didn't have they didn't have that footage except for just in video.
They cut it in the theatrical release. Brian Henson put it back in the VHS.
Gotcha.
So in theater you didn't get it either, and then in the VHS you got it, and then they cut it again in subsequent releases and tried to put it back in for the Blu-ray, but they only had the VHS. Brian Henson said it was unusable to upscale up. So now they found it, and they said they're going to put it back into Disney Plus. We'll see, but it's such a great song,
dude. I'll tell you what, having weak video footage of uncut stuff didn't stop Scream Factory from their Exorcist 3 director's cut. I'll tell you that.
That's what I'm saying. Was it still bad?
This is Disney. They're not going to put out something like that, man.
Well, I'm just saying, like, they gotta have the technology because you saw the Beatles thing they dropped.
That's like really good cocaine and street level crack. That's what we're talking about here.
I love the cocaine.
Oh, maybe they'll find the blood orgy scene from Event Horizon too. If they're finding stuff,
I really want them to.
Yeah,
I really want that. Okay, Jelani, what do you think about the music in the film?
I love it.
You're a song and dance kind of guy.
Yeah, that Michael Caine refrain at the end is my favorite song, and I'm mad now I didn't get to hear that Bella song. I guess I'll find out on YouTube, but it's just like he is very like the Tiny Tim song. It's very earnest, and it's like he's realized in his heart that all has changed, and that music really picks up well. I love that song, and I like the Marley and Marley song too. It's pretty catchy. The score is fairly decent. I'm very, I'm shocked. Well, I shouldn't be shocked because Muppet's been doing movies for ages.
Yeah, man.
So I mean, they nailed it, and the score is done very well.
Does Kermit and Miss Piggy have stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
I think so.
I believe so.
They're a thing. So yeah. That's it.
Nice.
I like the music. It was nice.
What about you, Brooks? Did you notice the music in this?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was all right.
Screw this.
They don't sing in the George C. Scott one
as much as I thought that they would. Like, with the exception, it feels like Christmas is probably the one I most remember. I think it was the catchiest song in this movie. But, I mean, I wasn't really feeling the songs too much in this one. I mean, sorry, guys.
It's okay, man. You're fine.
I'm hurt.
Twitch says that the Bell song is on Disney Plus, but it's in the additional features of Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I remember that song, like, when I first watched it. And I didn't even think about it until, like, it was mentioned, like, yeah, there was another song with her in there.
It's because some animator put a dick in the background. They pulled it out, something like that, right?
Disney guys.
No one Disney in the early 90s. Speaking of the early 90s, Jay Strick, what'd you think about the music?
Loved it. I kind of wish there was more, if I'm being honest. But what you get is classic. 92 it still holds up. I think it's just one of those ones. Like you said earlier, it's a Christmas rotation. It's a staple. I can watch it 2 to 3 times during December and just feel happy every time.
Yeah.
The soundtrack's great, man. It's definitely recommend for any Christmas fan.
Hell yeah, man. Nice. All right. What's this movie mean? What's the theme? Obviously, we all had to do book reports on Charles Dickens stuff For me, I never had to do a book report on Christmas Carol. It was always Great Expectations. Always. There was like 3 times in my school career I had to do shit on Great Expectations. I hate that book. I would like to see the Muppet rendition though. But this has been done to death. But the Muppets are doing their own thing with it. But they're really, to me, honoring the spirit of the book, of the story, of the tale, why it is so classic, why it's so timeless, why it's like a Shakespeare thing, why it's like Batman, why it can go into any setting and work. You can put it in a modern day comedic setting like Scrooged. We're going to be talking about that next week. You can put it in, a very like super old school classic Hollywood type setting and it works, right? Or you can put it in Muppet Town, which is next to London Town, which is near Otisburg, right? But just want to know personally, what does this movie mean to you? What's it trying to say, Manny?
Oh, I guess A Christmas Carol is a redemption story, right? That's what it boils down to. It's about taking time to pause and reflect on what came before in your life, the things you're missing now, and whether you're going to be missed in the future. And he experiences all of that over the course of this night. The Muppets add a certain charm and whimsy that while not as dark as the story could have been, the whimsy actually, I think it's a good counterbalance, and it fills in that emotional part of the journey where fear may have played a part. The whimsy plays a part, and I think that what that does is it pulls at your heartstrings, right? Because you could scare people by showing them grotesque and terrifying things about their future, or you can win over their hearts, and I feel like the Muppets are winning over hearts with this. So nice. That's what this movie means to me.
Nicely put, Manny. What about you, Jelani? What's this movie saying to you?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. It makes sense. And on top of that, this is a morality tale. This is, if you continue on the path of like hatred and fear and judgment, this is and what greed. You will be judged on. And it tells that story so well. And in the Muppet form, on top of it, it sticks out that, you do bad things will happen. The power of karma, that boomerang effect, if you don't do it, one way or the other. And the way it's played is fantastic. So that's what I get out of it. I mean, it feels, it puts the little kid in me. If I was a little kid and watched this, and I've watched many Christmas carols, I've watched George C. Scott version too. So they're all there, and they
you know
all
what
tell
the George
same
C. Scott
story.
one doesn't have?
What?
Doesn't have Rizzo the Rat. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of rats.
Rizzo the Rat.
So.
The best version.
I like the one from the 30s.
Bah humbug.
Yeah, Brooks is the Scrooge of this stream.
Yeah, he is.
Those are some nice thoughts, Jelani, man.
I liked it.
Yes, Brooks. Go ahead. What do you think? What do you think, man? What do you think this movie's theme is?
Well, I think probably one of the big themes is kind of the way that Christmas is such a contrast to how, everyday life is. It's a time, about giving and being generous and everything.
Sure.
But throughout, most life, most people are kind of more Scrooge-ish. They've been kind of, we've been kind of conditioned, like, you got to get your own, you got to make your own, make your own way, do for you. And I think Scrooge is kind of like the embodiment of taking that like way too far, because, despite him having all of this stuff, he doesn't get any joy out of it. He's just a miserable guy. He lives in a cold house because he's too cheap to pay for heat. And one of my favorite, and another thing is like one of my favorite scenes in this movie is after Kermit does his Bob Cratchit song, and as he's walking home, you see the little bunny rabbit over in like the sleep in a trash pile, like shivering, and that's kind of like, you know,
Some dark shit in
Yeah,
it for a kid's
yeah,
movie,
it's like,
huh?
you know, Christmas is kind of Christmas is kind of in a way a sugar coating to make us feel better about, you know, how a lot of the times we don't live up to the Christmas spirit that we like so much. And I think, you know, that's what kind of what Dickens was pointing out, is like the way that, you know, the Christmas spirit should be a thing that, you know, we have all year.
Yeah.
For sure.
That was really nice, Brooks. Honestly, that was touching.
Station Brooks.
Yeah,
My heart
Station.
grew 3 sizes.
I do believe in a Muppet Christmas Carol. All right, Jay Strick, what about you, man?
I think probably mine piggybacks off what Manny was saying, but it's what I see is like the power of second chances, right? Not everyone grew up, you know, in a household where both their parents stayed together, or you grew up with a lot of money, right? So things can change you. You get your heart be hardened or whatever, but you don't have to be that way, right? You still have the power in you to change. You see that in Scrooge's journey, right? You see his heart literally grow 3 sizes by the end of it. So I think the power of second chances it's powerful. I mean, like that you don't have to be what your environment or whatever product of your environment you think you have to be. You can be whatever you want to be.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't have much to add to what you all just said. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, it's about the worth of people.
Mhm.
It's about the destructive nature of selfishness to the community and to yourself. It's like Brooks was saying, it's about ignoring, you know, the rest of the year when we're faking out during Christmas time sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I always think one of my favorite dumb Christmas songs from the 80s is that "Do They Know It's Christmas in Africa" song or whatever.
Oh
This
God,
song
Do you
misses
know it's Christmas time at all?
that song so obviously misses the actual fucking point.
God,
You know what I'm saying? But it's incredibly catchy. So
Isn't
it's
that
just
like a
fun-
charity song with like a bunch of
Yeah.
different
Yes,
pop singers?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just, you know,
Yes.
like, but anyway, I digress. But like, but it's showing you like the reality of the world, the poverty, you know, and what that does, and the disparaging nature. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and has been going on for the last few years about the class structure and things like that, and wealth and its distribution and whatnot. And I don't care what you think about any of that. This has been a battle and of philosophies since before Charles Dickens' days. You know what I'm saying? This is a struggle. This is something like where do we take the individual and where do we take the community? Where does it meet? And what's the right way to do that and the balance, right? So there have always been these kind of explorations on that. So that's something, you know, selfishness, greed, but the worth of people, you know, the fact that like why does it takes Tiny Tim seeing someone, Tiny Tim does something to him. You know what I'm saying? And he starts getting affected. I think he's more affected by the future death of Tiny Tim than he is his own death, right?
Mhm.
Even though
Yeah.
the big thing is
He
him.
is.
Tiny Tim's
Yeah.
like the opposite of him.
Yeah,
He's
Exactly.
the most
Good,
generous spirit.
kind-hearted. Right.
exactly. So it's about that, but it's also about redemption. You know, like Strickland said, you can rise above your circumstances. You can rise above the pit you've dug yourself. You can actually get out of it. You can grow personally, and you can somehow manage to reflect on the past and make what good you can on it now, live in the now, and create a better future, and lead a road of redemption and actually become a benefit. It's never too late. You know what I'm saying? So
For sure.
for real. Yeah. And the older you get, as you get older, you get more cynical about Christmas. So don't lose sight of the joy of giving, says Brother Joe. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Hell yeah. Everybody in the PCP Army out there in the chat rooms. What is this? 1997. Everybody in the chat with some really great responses for that as well. Now it's time to rate the film out of 5 possible you digs. What do you out there in the chat think about this film? What do you give it? What do you rate it? What do you think, Manny?
Oh, this is This is a 5 you digger for me. Abso-freaking-lutely. I love this film. It's my favorite adaptation of A Christmas Carol. And between the music and the acting, and Jelani kept saying, like a stage show, and the fact that because of the way they have to build Muppet sets and how limited the actual sets in this film are, it feels like that. And when you do a stage show, you have to present your character in this bigger, bombastic way, and it all weighs on the actor. And I think that helps the performances. This is a perfect adaptation. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's not a perfect translation, but it's a perfect adaptation. 5 you digs all day.
Nice. 5 you digs. Perfect. Starting with the perfect scores. I don't know if this is going to be a thorough line all the way through the panel tonight. What about you, Jelani? What do you think?
Being my first time watching it, I'll probably need to watch it again. It does feel like it's something.
It's got
that
high
is
rewatchability though.
It does. It does. It's very.
That's what you base all of your ratings
So,
on. You say
it is
rewatchability,
and I want to watch it again. I'm very happy that I got a chance to watch it as a 42-year-old man. So, I'm gonna give it 4.5. I was going to give it a 4, but I gave it 4.5 because it is very heartwarming. It's very, it's a great, like I said before, a great morality tale. It's told in a way that is relatable to adults and children. I get it, So it feels like I would watch this again, and I'd probably encourage who if you haven't watched it, even old or young, you need to really watch this film. It's very good. It's done very well. So I give it 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
That's very respectable. And of course, this is streaming on Disney Plus. So if you have that service, you have access to it. You can also rent it digitally at places. Not really. You can't rent it at many stores anymore, like a VHS copy. But that'd be cool. It's in a clamshell.
Well, you can't
and all
go
of
to
that.
Blockbuster and rent it?
No, you can't. But speaking of, can't go back to the glory days sometimes. Brooks, why don't you tell us, what do you give this out of 5 you digs?
I'd probably give this one a 4. I mean, it is still very good, even though I kind of dumped on it a little bit
Yeah.
because it wasn't as good as
A little bit.
my favorite version. But it's still it is a very rewatchable movie. It is the kind of movie that I could see, being an annual tradition. It's just one of those movies, like you can watch it with anybody. It'd be a good movie to watch with with kids, or like if I had to be sitting with my niece and nephew, I'd be like, hey, let's watch this Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And then I could tell them, I could depress them with facts about, what it means. It's like, you see that little bunny in the garbage there shivering? He dies.
yeah. You're right. All right. That's actually a really good rating for you absolutely. What about you, Jay Strick?
Man, I'm giving this a 5 you digs. I love, Robbie knows this about me. I love Christmas time. It's my favorite time of the year. And this movie hits all the Christmas feels for me. It's got everything I want in a Christmas movie. And like everyone said, you could throw it on any year and it just still holds up. So 5 you digs.
5 you digs. It almost sounded like you were about to say you could throw it on any time, but then you realized you couldn't because it'd be weird.
It would be weird.
Stretch to watch this.
So I brought it back around.
That's very strange. Yeah.
Watch this movie every Easter.
So I do. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I do get Christmas songs stuck in my head throughout the year.
Oh yeah.
It's usually Silver Bells for some reason. Jelani, we all have our different criteria for why we rate the movies the way we do. And maybe that will add some explanation on why we can have a perfect score for films like Reanimator and maybe less of a perfect score for a film like, say, I don't know, The Green Mile, right? Like I would like Green Mile to me, like 4.5, Reanimator 5, right? Now, is Green Mile a better film? Yes.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm doing this right now, but what I'm trying to say is I judge movies on what they are trying to accomplish. And this movie accomplishes absolutely everything that it set out to do and even more. I really feel like Brian Henson, you said that's Jim's son, right?
Yep.
having lost his father, this being their next production, put a lot of like heart
Oh yeah.
into this movie.
Mhm.
And it really is just oozing out of it. There's a lot of charm. The scene, one of my favorite scenes, man, because it's just so wholesome, is when Kermit and his Tiny Tim are just skipping down the street, just
Singing a song.
Yeah,
like
that was
I
a
love
great song.
It's sweet.
I
so
love that.
five
Yeah.
you digs for
One
me.
more.
Yeah,
This is 100% exactly what it was trying to accomplish, and it even excels further beyond that, and it has a timeless quality to it, where today in 2021 it could have been made yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
well, it couldn't have been, because then it would have had a bunch of shitty CG and stupid colors all over the
Yeah.
place, not done in a nuanced way whatsoever. But we're not talking about the state of the industry right now, are we? So we had a 5 from Manny, a 5 from J Strick, and a 5 from me. Then we had a 4 from Brooks and a 4.5 from Jelani. That is a PCP average of 4.69, dude. Nice. All right, let's take a look at the chat real quick. Mrs. Chamorro says, 5 you digs, love this movie. Joseph says 5 for all the sweaty hands. Yes.
Nice.
Absolutely. The Rogue Trader says 5 you digs and a ho ho ho. Rogue Trader does a really good Santa Claus, by the way.
Absolutely.
Like, absolutely. Twitch, I knew it. 5 you digs, easy, right? Brother Joe's in the house. 5 you digs, 4 reindeers, and 3 ho ho ho's for a total of. Is that a Christmas tree station?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that translates actually in some ancient Sumerian tablets. Those two symbols mean 69, dudes.
Oh, good. I thought we were about to summon a demon again, Robbie. Again.
Yes.
y'all summoned one before. I'm out.
Saturnalia is on the way, y'all. Anyway,
I
so
don't do demons.
that was our review of Muppet Christmas Carol. Do join us next week when we'll be talking about another adaptation of A Christmas Carol, Scrooged, one of my personal favorites. But before that, join us tomorrow night on Dylan's Horror Show, where we talk about Weird Stretch the movie, Black Christmas 2006. I watched this movie. I had to watch this movie 2 times because I watched it and I was like, was that bad or was it good because it was bad? So I had to watch it again. I got some thoughts. I'm going to share them tomorrow night on Dylan's Horror Show. Brooks, have you watched it yet?
Not yet, no.
I'm excited for you, man. Like I am. This movie is wild. If you got some beers, have a couple. You might
I've got
wanna
one
have-
beer.
Yeah, you might want to have that while you're watching that movie. It'd probably make it better. I'm not drinking right now until Festivus, right? So like, I still made it through it 2 times, but it's a weird fucking stretch, man. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, it's what PCP back chat and a little bit of show and tell. We'll be right back here on PCP Movie. Well, J Strick can't even wait until the segment actually ends.
J Scrub.
J Scrub.
amazing. Make sure that you go and check it for real. Station. Oh, post. Anyway, sorry, y'all. I was over on the gram talking about this amazing review we just did over on the gram. I do that now. In 36 years, Robbie, I never thought I'd be saying I'm doing things for the gram.
I call it IG. Is that not hip anymore? Just say IG.
I don't.
Hey, speaking of trying to be hip, look, it's Joe Corallo. What's up?
Hey, Joe. What's
Still
your
says,
name?
Still remember seeing this movie in theaters? Of course, man. Joe sees everything in theaters, man. He saw Satan's Little Helper in the theater. I watched Joe a little bit earlier on the Perch stream. They had Jeff Thorne. They had Pat. I can't remember. It's Pat Shand. And Sean Murphy was there for a little bit with Perch and Joe. It was a fun show to watch, man. Great show. Good to see you, Joe. Hope you're having a good holiday season. He says it's true. When is Festivus? Don't insult us, man. Festivus is the same day every year. It's December 23rd. We will be taking donations for the Human Fund on that stream. So I hope everybody's feeling
Money for
generous.
people.
That's right. Money for people.
We'll be airing our grievances. I'm thinking 8 p.m. Central. What time you get off on Thursdays, Jelani?
Actually, I can be free around 8.
Yeah, we'll do 8. We'll do 8 then.
Is that next week?
Nah, that's the
No,
23rd.
23rd.
It's the Thursday before
That's the
Christmas.
Thursday
bro.
before Christmas, yeah. It's next week.
Christmas
Yeah.
Eve?
A week after
It's
next.
the day before Christmas Eve.
Day before Christmas.
Christmas Eve.
No, Festivus.
Christmas
Eve.
Eve?
For the rest of us.
Anyway, we'll be thinking about our grievances. I got a few. I have a grievance against Hardee's. Can I just tell y'all real quick?
Oh my God.
Don't eat Hardee's ever.
Yeah, they've gotten terrible.
Especially in the
terrible
North
now.
Alabama area. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's not even.
My
It took
guy
me so
fucking
long to get a
broke
burger
the other
once in the
day.
morning. Yeah, it was terrible.
I didn't break.
Terrible.
You broke.
I bent a little bit though.
You were broken. I saw a man shattered.
Anyway, how are y'all doing?
What's up? Did y'all watch Hawkeye?
It's been a couple. It's been a bit. I did watch Hawkeye. We could. Do you want a little non-spoilery discussion on Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, the ending of this episode was spoiled to me by social media.
Oh, Hawkeye? Oh, that's
By an article talking about how fans were upset, right? That the show got spoiled by social media.
Yeah.
They spoiled it.
And they
But
spoiled
also,
it.
they do this now. Like, if you go on the home screen of Disney Plus right now, she's on there with the Hawkeye, like on a banner. So it's like if you didn't watch the episode, you would just get it ruined. You know what I'm saying?
But people have been talking about it. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
it was set up. It was set up from Black Widow, you know. So, oops, did I spoil it? I didn't mean to.
I still got to watch Christmas Evil.
What's a Black Widow?
I was gonna do Christmas Evil this year, but then we decided to do like actual Christmas movies for some reason. We were like, last year we did the horror thing, so I've already rewatched Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night this year.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
I
nice.
love those movies, man.
Yeah, classics.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. Gremlins is coming soon. Yeah. How long will the Festivus stream be? I don't know. How long was it last year?
Didn't y'all go 6
Wasn't
hours?
it like 2 hours or
We even
no?
good last year?
Oh, no, it was New Year's. New Year's.
Yeah,
New Year's we did
6 hours.
6.
Yeah, that was long.
We ain't doing that one again.
I went to IHOP, got food, and came back, and the stream was still on. I was like, what?
That's right.
I went
Yeah.
to bed and woke up, and y'all had your shades on, and you were talking about Mario or some shit. Like I went to sleep,
That
woke
was
up
a good,
from
man,
being
that was a good
asleep,
stream.
and y'all were.
That was a fun show.
Robbie will keep going. Well, there was
Yeah, I
it was
like
all
that
the
shit.
highs and lows, right? There was a part where you get emotional, the part where it's funny.
Then we were getting emotional.
Yeah.
We started
Yeah.
like I think it was going like I did
How
all
about
6
Luck Nation or
hours.
something?
Yeah.
You know, like
Mhm.
the first hour was just me and Bueller. I was drinking coffee, so I was like, I got to do this, you know. And we took a break every hour. Every hour had its theme, you know. And the Teen Dog hour was my favorite. That was real fun because Mike was wearing that mask too. and you
my
tell
Yeah.
that he was like suffering.
He's like,
And
sweating. I'm
so
fine.
good.
I'm
I
fine.
gotta hold on to this bit. So calm down, man. Take it off.
That was a
times,
fun
man.
stream, man.
It was awesome.
Yeah, you're worth it, Delaney.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Delaney's
man.
worth it.
Oh yeah. Was that drunk that night?
No,
Mm.
No,
you-
that was Twisted Tea.
that
night.
was-
Twisted Tea night.
that was the
Yeah.
Festivus stream. Was
That was
when you were
Festivus,
you're
yeah.
telling everybody they were
That
worth
was
it
creep.
and to fuck off and all that shit.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah,
I
that
want
was a
that
good
on my
time.
shirt
We
still.
saw this man drink
Awesome.
like 2 pint glasses of ice and Jameson like in an hour.
I
and then
didn't-
just
I
watch
didn't
the
know.
crumbling of a
I
consciousness.
didn't know. I haven't
Oh.
drank Jameson since, by the way. Because not since that night. I was like, no way, man. I'll drink wine from now on. I'm good.
So are y'all liking Hawkeye?
Yeah, I am. I enjoy it. I think it's a great Christmas like series to have during this time. It's great. It's lighthearted. It's got its moments, of action. I think my favorite so far has been the one with the trick arrows. I love that episode. I like Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop.
Yeah,
She's she's perfectly cast. I like how Hawkeye is deaf and it tells that story in it. Echo's a little weird. I'm not sure about Echo. I really hope Kingpin is involved in the Echo show that they're gonna have. I really hope they bring back.
I heard
D'Onofrio.
they're keeping Charlie Cox and possibly Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah,
too.
if D'Onofrio is Kingpin, oh, it's made. And have him either fight Daredevil this
I'll
time
tell you this.
and
I'll tell you
Spider-Man. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I'll tell you this real quick. Kingpin right now is the Mephisto of Hawkeye.
He is.
He's the one that everybody like Bob
He
from
is.
Everything Comics literally was talking about. I analyzed the voice and the hand, and that's
Right.
Vincent D'Onofrio's hand, and that's his voice. And I'm like, I don't know.
That's not,
Like,
we're not even
They-
doing that yet.
without
not even doing
spoiling
that
it,
yet.
the drop from this week, I think to them is a big deal, right? So
Yeah.
like, I don't think we're getting Kingpin tied into this Echo origin.
No.
And this Echo origin it's similar a little bit, right? But it's also way off, and the character's off a little
No,
bit. but
man,
not
you were
too-
wong about Loki.
I
What?
love
What do you
Loki.
mean?
Loki.
You didn't think Kang was going to show up.
You're right. You are right.
Technically, he didn't.
Technically, though, he didn't. The one.
He did.
Technically did.
The one, the He Who Remains was there.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
Brooks,
That's
you're kinda
not Kang
wrong.
yet.
In another reality, you may be right, but not
Immortus?
in this one.
Come on, man.
What
Yeah.
is, bro?
Holding on to that.
Loki is
Weasel.
shit.
Weasel
Loki
words.
is still the top.
If
Still the
Vincent
top.
D'Onofrio shows up
Wow.
as Kingpin, I will flip my shit. I'll be super excited, man.
Me too.
And there you go.
Embarrass me in front of her.
I'm worried. I'm
Daredevil
worried about
is
Marvel.
still
Though.
The best. That's the best 3-act Marvel show that they've told to date. Like Daredevil is the best. It's definitive.
I don't know, man.
It's the
Marvel
beginning,
produced
middle,
that
and
Mantis
end.
show from the '90s, didn't they?
Yeah,
Don't
Mantis
think
is
about. Don't forget
awesome.
about that one.
Mantis is awesome too. But you love Mantis,
I did, man. I love that shit, man.
but like
It's no Lois and
it
Clark,
tells it
but-
well. But I'm glad they
Nothing
brought
is Lois and
Charlie
Clark.
Cox back.
Yeah, that's a dumb thing.
Why are you worried about Marvel, Jay Strick?
I just feel like they're biting off more than they can chew. Like, I'm really worried about the Spider-Man movie. It just seems like a weird stretch.
I'm
Like,
good.
we'll
As
see.
long as they don't
We'll
put
see.
all the villains in at the same time and make it gross.
Like,
This
Shang-Chi
is
was
the
like a
multiverse.
solid 3.5. I haven't seen Eternals yet. There's so much going on in the shows, and I like it. Like, I like their own thing. I honestly don't hope it's not a Kingpin. I think that would just be a weird stretch. I just let it be its own thing.
It's
But they
probably
keep going
gonna
back
be
and forth with everything. So,
Well,
not
the-
Kingpin.
and then with Spider-Man, I'm sure that's going to make everything canon or whatever. You know, you can bring in whoever.
The Echo origin is tied to Kingpin, though, so that's like
Yeah.
that would be why it would be cool to see him in that in particular. Like he should be the guy. He should be the boss, right?
You don't want to
Because-
see someone else do it? You think it should be him?
No, I want to
No,
see
it
the
should always
fucking
be
comic
Kingpin.
book shit. Like I want this to be done. I want Echo and Kingpin to be done in a Daredevil series.
No, I'm
You
saying
know?
Vincent.
I don't want
D'Onofrio.
that thrown
You-
into a Hawkeye.
Do you think it should be someone else, or you think it should?
Oh,
be
it should
him?
be Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, he did. kill it.
100%.
He's the only
else is
Kingpin
gonna
we
do
think
it?
of.
Who
Right.
else is going to do it?
Bullseye Bob. Obviously.
Okay.
The
But
Rock,
those are-
You know.
Vin Diesel.
The Rock is
Vin Diesel.
Black Adam. Yeah. Vin
Steven
Diesel
Seagal.
Steven
Vin
Seagal.
Diesel is
The
bloodshot.
guy from Karate Kid, the new season.
Terry Silver.
God.
I'm pumped as shit for that, man. I watched that trailer today because I've been
dude, yeah, it gave me
avoiding
chills.
it. I just every time I see any footage from Cobra Kai, it makes me want to watch all the fucking Karate Kid movies again,
Yep.
or I should say, the first 3 Karate Kid movies again.
Not the next Karate Kid.
Yeah, me and Jay Strick we got this theory that Hilary Swank's going to show up at the end of this season.
She's got to be.
Yeah.
She's got to be
Gotta
in
be.
it because Miyagi was involved with the next Karate Kid.
Yeah,
So yeah, she's got to be.
And
in
then,
it.
legacy, bro.
Yep.
Well, it's going to be 2 Easter eggs. So that will be the first end credit. Then the second end credit, a Miyagi from a different universe shows up and says he's got to assemble all the greatest Daniels and Johnnies. And the
when you
multiverse.
know the show has jumped the shark is when we get introduced to like a long lost kid of Miyagi that we never knew existed or some shit like that
Oh,
from
God.
like
Yeah.
some seedy affair he had in the 80s. You know,
Or his
some
car, like the car he gave Daniel starts talking. That's when you know you.
Greetings,
It's really
Daniel.
me.
They're burning through all their legacy characters. Like
Yeah,
eventually,
this is it. Like, this
Jackie
is it.
Chan's
They
gonna
burn
show
through.
up eventually. Jaden Smith is gonna have
Yep.
to make
I
it.
don't
Yeah,
We
they're
got
gonna
no
have to
one
do it.
for season
That's
5.
a different
Let's
continuity.
get on this.
well, so
No, but after
they-
Spider-Man and Doctor Strange fuck
Yeah,
up the multiverse,
everything.
it'll be
Nothing, yeah.
I did
Johnny
read.
opens up a portal between 2 Karate Kid universes.
How are we gonna get X-Men? How are we gonna get Fantastic Four? Let's
Spider-
do this multiverse thing and bring them in. So I
You
can
don't
see
need the
what's going
multiverse
on.
to bring in X-Men and Fantastic Four, though.
No, you
man.
don't.
I know, but how?
What
you
are
gonna-
they
who
doing
cares?
Fantastic Four? Like, I
They're
feel like
never
they
doing
got to
it.
do
They
that.
have the property.
Like, those
and
are
X-Men.
legacy characters.
Fantastic
Like, what are they
Four has
doing?
not been successful in the past.
Yeah, they've been pretty bad.
Yeah, but this time the guy that did
they have
Ant-Man
frickin-
doing it. No, the guy that did it's the guy that did
First-
the Spider-Man movies, right? It's the
First-
first 2 Spider-Man movies, right?
What is-
Homecoming and Far From Home.
Oh,
It's that
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
right?
I don't know.
Isn't it?
I have no idea.
I have no clue.
Anybody remember?
That last Fantastic Four, though, the first half is awesome. Literally, it is
No,
good.
that movie is trash.
And
All the way
then
through.
when they cut the
I
director
agree.
off,
And
I agree with Jay Strick. I dig the
First half is
first
good,
part
Jelani. You
of
said so
Fantastic.
yourself in our review, bro.
I hate that movie now. I watched it again. I've seen it again. I hate that movie. Listen, fucking
I've seen it again. I hate that movie. I've seen it again.
I
I hate
seen it again, and I was like, I knew what my expectations were. And I saw it the second time, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a little bit of shot for the first half. I remember liking the first half. It's too slow for what you're trying to accomplish. For the third act to be that fucking shit show it is. I don't think Josh Trank really had a vision for that first half to go in.
Bruh, he did.
He just wanted to make
Galactus.
just non-superheroes, whatever. It was gonna be shit.
Yeah, it's the dude
So-
that did Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home. He's the guy doing the Fantastic Four film.
Okay,
Sam
so
Raimi.
that's fine. Let him do it. He'll be
We'll
fine.
see how they do it, man.
Bruce Campbell.
We'll see.
Nah, man.
They should have been there at the beginning, but we saw,
Bruce Campbell
MCU,
should play
whatever.
Paste Pot Pete.
he's
All I know is
Sir,
next Thursday, if he
I'm gonna
doesn't
trust you
reprise his
now.
role as the waiter from Spider-Man, we riot.
I'm with you. We're doing it.
yeah.
I mean, who do you like better, the announcer, the waiter, or the usher? He
I
should
like
be all
Usher.
3.
He
in it.
should.
He should show up
Yeah.
all 3.
Was he Ash the whole time?
When I met Ted Raimi, I asked him if he was in Doctor Strange, and he looked at me and he was like, "No."
Like he was pissed. Like he was
Like he was
pissed.
pissed I even asked him. Yeah,
No.
Like, how did they not put you in this?
but then he was really
James
cool.
Gunn got his brother.
I think it was really cool though.
Dude, he was
Like, I love you in Spider-Man, dude.
he was
Like,
a Deadeye.
and how?
He was a Deadeye in Creepshow season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's everything. He's
Fun
in
fact.
everything that they
Bro,
do.
by the
Yeah.
way, I watched the first episode of that Chucky weird fucking stretch.
What are you talking about?
The acting is atrocious.
Oh,
I'm gonna
just
keep going. I'm gonna
keep
power
going, bro.
through. But the dad is a weird stretch, bro.
Yes. Yes.
He's
Devin Sawa is terrible in it, bro.
Horrible. Like
He
I
is.
was.
Devin
It was like
Sawa's
from
in it?
Justin to Kelly bad acting.
Just
like,
trust me.
bad,
You got to
bad.
get through it, man. They're not the
Okay.
ones that you got to focus
All
on.
right, I'm gonna keep going. But
So in the
so
first
far,
episode, is that the bit with the talent show?
yes.
when he's up there and he's like, Chucky's like, you're all a bunch of fucking assholes. Like, it cracks me the fuck up, bro.
It's not Chucky, it's the acting.
I know,
The
I get
actor-
it.
Yeah, it's
Just
bad.
Just wait, bro.
Okay,
It doesn't
I'm gonna
matter.
keep going.
It's not about that, man.
I was upset though. I
You're
just needed to
familiar
know.
with this Chucky
And
franchise.
this Child's Play show isn't about great acting.
Calm
The
down.
kids deliver really good acting. That's who the show is about. The
Oh,
kids.
it's a weird stretch that he collects like vintage dolls for an art show
No,
in
it's
2020.
not.
Yeah. Okay.
What
Have
is
you ever
wrong with
been
you,
to
bro?
Modern
What
art?
13-year-old kid goes to yard sales anymore?
Bro.
They're playing
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Or know what they are. Yeah.
Anyway,
Am I
Keep
the only
watching.
one who's watched the? Has anyone else watched the Wheel of Time show so far that's come on Amazon?
I haven't seen it.
Bruh.
I've heard about it.
What are you talking
I
about?
don't
What
know.
is that?
Wheel of
It's
Time
a,
is
it's
like
a, it's based on a
role play.
fantasy book series.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen it. Is it any
It's
good?
actually been really good so far, and I'm like a guy who's read all the books, so
You need to get Hulu and watch season 2 of Demon Slayer because that shit is crazy good.
I gotta get that. Demon Slayer is the shit. Quite possibly.
What are you watching,
maybe
Manny?
my favorite anime.
Star Trek Discovery,
Nice.
Star Trek The Prodigy.
Okay, so
And,
you and Robbie are like huge Star Trek fans.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a huge
someone-
Star Trek fan, but not
As someone who's never seen
that level.
anything Star Trek, where should I start? Like I
DS9.
don't even know where to start.
OS.
Yeah.
DS9.
DS9.
I would do the OS though. DS9 is awesome though.
like
but
I start with
original
is that the
series
show
is
or the
really
movie?
The show.
The show.
Okay.
Deep Space Nine, baby.
Oh yeah.
Commander Cisco. They didn't make his ass captain till later. But that is baller.
Spoilers.
It's
So
Damn.
good.
It's
So
baller.
good.
Don't
So
worry
good.
about that.
It's the start of the serialized version
Okay.
of Star Trek television. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's
The
when they
real
started telling a
break it off.
story long arc. And the Dominion War is probably one of my favorite times in Trek history.
Yeah.
Because you don't. I love Gene Roddenberry's idea of this utopian type future.
No
But
conflict.
I also
Yeah.
love the idea of the fact that the Federation is essentially a fucking imperialist fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like they are the Borg. Like Next Gen does a good job with the Borg, but they don't explore enough of the fact that the Borg and the Federation are two peas in the same fucking pod. You know what I mean? They're assimilating.
They're
other
assimilating.
planets.
Yeah.
They're forcing them to conform. They're taking their technology. You know what I mean? Like it's and they get to pick the winners and losers, right? The Prime Directive gets to determine who gets risen up out of the fucking muckety muck, right? So it's like they don't explore
Well,
that
you
enough.
gotta make warp, man.
Yeah.
If you make a warp drive, you're in.
Yeah, yeah.
You can fly
If you
like
have-
we can.
You have
You
the
can fly
technology.
like we can. Yep. That's when
but-
they approach you. That's a Prime Directive. It makes sense. I'm sorry, I love Star Trek too.
But no, DS9 is probably where I would
It's dirty. It's dirty
Yeah.
Star Trek.
where I
It's
would
dirty
start.
Star Trek.
I leave
It's
y'all talking about
perfect.
Wheel of Time. I get back, we're talking about Star Trek. Jay Strick, did
Yeah.
you ask him what to watch?
Yeah, I said where should I start? Because I know you and him are
Listen,
big Star Trek fans.
I already told you.
You didn't say you couldn't land on it. You said
Yeah, I did. I said I'm going to give you a selection of TOS. I don't think you should just go through and start trying to binge TOS.
Yeah.
I think you should watch a
You need the
select few of
basics.
those, then go into the movies.
Get an idea of who Spock, McCoy, and Kirk are.
Yeah.
Get the basis of what Star Trek is.
And then go into
then
the movies.
then the movies. The movies will it gives you the bigger picture, the cinematic version of what they were in that show. And then you get the surprise of Spock's death. Spoiler alert, sorry.
He
Everyone's
gets
seen
better.
it.
He comes back.
Yeah.
But he comes back. It's
Recover.
fine, but it's every other movie. And then
The
of
very
course,
next
you get
movie
the
after he dies is
Yeah.
called The Search for Spock. That's a
Search for
fucking spoiler.
Spock. It's a spoiler. Spock dies.
Yeah,
It's one of the
Wow,
best
great
movies ever
marketing
made.
plan.
But Star Trek in itself you should watch the original series and how it plays out. The reason why the Federation is what it is. The Next Generation builds on it. It makes it a little better because it's more the future of
And that
what
being
the
said,
Enterprise was. So it's
DS9 is probably the
it's-
best to enjoy
it's
as
grimy.
an ongoing
Yeah.
series.
correct. It's grimier. It's
Too many
grittier. It's
shows I
not.
gotta watch, man.
It's not the.
You're the one asking about what Star Trek.
No,
you
I
realize
know.
how
I
much
just want to
Star
know.
Trek there is?
I just want to know what it's all about. I never got it.
Yeah, that's
I
why
was
it's
always
easy.
Star Wars. You
That's
know
why
what I'm
it's
saying?
easy to be a Star Wars fan because it's like, oh, we got a
Oh,
handful
yeah.
of movies.
You just jump
Okay?
in.
That's why it's
Right.
easy to be a Star Wars
Laser
fan.
sticks.
There's way more content out there as
Star
far as
Trek
I
is
Trek
read
goes.
the novelization of Dark Place Against the Wise. Don't
see
you come
what's
at me with
behind
that.
me, brother. Come on.
But you don't have Star Wars coder on your Switch?
Calm down.
Yeah.
Not like a real Star
And
Wars
how-
fan like me.
Ooh.
You
might
didn't
not
like
see Old
Rebels.
Republic.
Why
You're
are
not a
you?
Star
You're
Yeah.
letting them pin
Don't
us
like the
against
art
each other,
style.
Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks is
I'm
really,
gatekeeping
you know,
you. You're not a real
you're
Star,
the one.
you're not a
Yeah.
real Star Wars fan anymore because you don't have coder on the Switch. I did it.
Is there
Yeah.
so there are
Brooks
games
is
that are
off
good
tonight.
to play on the Switch? Because all we do on mine is my daughter uses it to watch YouTube and Netflix. That's the only thing she does.
Yeah,
on her
there's
Switch.
good games. They just did a subscription where you can play the old Nintendo 64, Nintendo, Super Nintendo games too.
Yeah, we have that on the. We have 2 Switches at the house, and I've played Mario Brothers 3. That's the only thing I've played on that.
it's because
on the
it's like
Switch
the
on
greatest
there.
goddamn video game of all time.
It's a
All
good-
the
Yeah.
Zelda games are fire. Breath of the Wild. I don't know if you've ever played it, but that's
that one I want to play.
That's
That
one of the
looks-
best Zelda games, honestly, if not the best. I don't know if Brooks would agree.
Brooks
I
is a
like
Zelda
it.
snob.
I don't think it's one of the best.
Bro, what's the best one?
Well, personally, Link to the Past is
The first one, or no? That's the
Link to the Past is the third one.
third one.
Super NES.
Super. That one's so slow.
Slow.
Yeah, I just played through that shit.
I could beat that game in one sitting, dude.
That's why it's
Whoa.
horrible. You have to suffer through fucking Majora's Mask. All right, Brooks. That's the measure of a true.
Majora's Mask. I actually
fucking
kind of like
fan.
Majora's Mask.
People
Alright,
liked
yeah.
that when that
Really.
came out.
I
Wasn't
do
that
too.
the,
I
wasn't
like
that the
Majora's
first?
I actually have
It's
the
a good game.
cartridge of that.
Frustrating.
Wasn't it
having
that
to-
people-
Wasn't that the first one on the 64?
No,
Second.
Ocarina.
Ocarina.
of Time was the first one.
Oh, never mind. People
Oh,
like
man.
that one. I remember working at Hollywood Video. Everybody rented
Yeah,
that
they
shit.
really
Oh
like.
yeah,
I rented it too, and I was
did.
like, I still don't understand Zelda.
that and Mario Kart. Those were the games to rent.
Mario Kart.
Super
God,
Gold-
get whole shit on this
GoldenEye.
about Zelda.
GoldenEye. Oh
GoldenEye.
my.
Yeah,
64,
Goldeneye was
bro.
awesome.
Yeah.
We should play some GoldenEye. I love that game.
Oh, check it out. Golden cartridge with the
Hey.
holographic thingy.
Nice. That's probably worth a lot of money.
You probably no. A lot of those games are. Yeah,
If it's not slabbed and
You should get it
and graded, I
Yeah,
don't
you should get it
know.
graded,
I got
Brooks.
slab it.
I know you really care about that kind of stuff.
They do that. They slap fucking video games
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And I'm
Why?
like, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
You know
Because
what?
most-
You don't want to play that.
most
anymore?
people-
Why?
Here's what's so crazy.
Well, you can
Most
get it on another
people,
console.
most people that have these expensive, outrageous vintage video game collections play emulators.
Yeah.
But you have the game right there.
You don't have to blow out the cartridge.
That's
or
like-
any of the other bullshit.
That's like having books and not reading them, movies and not
Yeah.
watching them, comics not reading them, toys and not playing with them. You know? Come
Yeah.
on.
But I get
All
so I'm
crimes.
not a fan of grading, but I get like if it's something like signed by like the artist or the creator, like getting it like slabbed, I feel like it would be pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know.
It's a video game, man.
I mean, if
You're
that's
supposed
what
to
you
play
like,
I'm
that's
saying
what you like.
anything, video games, pops, comics,
the thing
movies,
about-
posters.
The thing
If
about
I read it,
slabbing
I'll slap it.
slabbing a game is like that Mario Brothers that sold for like $2 million or whatever the hell.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was unopened, right? So if I print a fucking cardboard box and tape it and put weight in it to make it seem like a game, they're not going to open it because that's going to ruin the grade.
Well, they have
Right?
authenticators,
They run it through some sort of machine,
algorithm.
like, and then no one's going to crack the slab and check it because then they just screwed themselves out of $2 million.
I'm about to get crazy, y'all. I'm going to open up this cactus cooler.
Oh, that's your last one, man.
Last one, man.
I already drank mine.
Is that like Ecto Cooler or?
It's a orange pineapple soda that apparently used to be nationwide, but is now only in the Southwest. So Mike on his tour discovered it in Arizona or something, brought us all back some, and then ordered some online and gave
It
us some.
slaps. Yeah,
It's
slaps.
so good.
Nice.
Where is Ecto Cooler? I haven't seen any.
It's gone.
There's
It's
not
been
out,
gone.
bro.
What, they just did the movie.
2016.
They didn't put it out. That's one of
What
my
the
grievances.
hell is wrong with them?
Yeah, that's
This
bull
one
crap.
is way better than the
This is what they
2016
did.
one.
Ecto Cooler is the
They
best
made it-
drink Icy ever
Even
made.
the Ghostbusters animated series
Period.
would have an excuse to keep it like year
It's
round.
so good.
This is what happened this year. They actually produced a limited amount of Ecto Cooler. It was in jars that looked like they were in containers that looked like Gatorade or like orange juice
Yeah.
bottles, like the little ones, and they sent them out to influencers to make
That's it?
Instagram posts and Twitter video, like tweets and TikTok videos and YouTube videos. Like seriously, you can YouTube it, and there will be people who'll be like, "Hey, they sent me
Likes.
this." That's all they did.
We didn't get
And at
any?
certain premiere events, you
No.
could go and
Yeah, we didn't get
possibly
any?
get some. They did not
That's-
release it to the public. No,
And overlooked.
That's
you know.
yeah.
The
Class wars,
2016 Ghostbusters movie, whatever.
That's why I
At
don't like
least it gave
Instagram.
us Ecto Cooler back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a weird stretch.
They did. That's the only good thing they did. Yep.
Maybe they thought
stuff
that was a
delicious.
jinx. Maybe they thought if they released it again.
Yeah. I mean,
It was delicious.
I mean, this movie is slightly better.
it is. It's better.
This is better.
You didn't
It's
like
better
it
in
much?
2016.
It was okay.
Sure.
It's better.
It was like a
I
3
watched it.
digs.
Yeah,
3-5.
3-ish. I don't know. I'm talking about it Sunday night, Rockin' Robbie Live, so still putting my thoughts together. Yeah, Chrono Trigger Twitch has always been fucking expensive for like the last 20 years. It just keeps going up.
God.
I remember you used to be able to go and buy 64 games for like $4 or $5 a piece.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
You know, I miss
At the
that.
right
Dude.
garage sale, you still can.
So I got most of my old school games, like used for, like I remember Walmart used to have a rental store with they rented out Super Nintendo and like Genesis games at the time and N64 and stuff. And when it closed, like they basically were selling them for like a couple of bucks a piece. I was like I snatched up like Secret of Mana, like a bunch of good games from that.
Bruh.
Very cool,
And then I
man.
lost them.
Oh, before I forget, I don't know if I don't want to draw ire. I just wanted to ask, at least Brooks. Brooks, did you watch Cowboy Bebop? The
The
Netflix
Netflix
adaptation?
series?
Yeah. What did you think about it?
They canceled
Now,
it, Brooks. I don't know if you've heard that yet.
Oh, seriously?
They've already
Yeah, it's
canceled it.
canceled.
Wow.
Yeah, less than
It's
a
done.
month.
Huh.
Yeah.
That means I
Did
wonder
not
if
think-
How is anything supposed to fucking build an
Well,
audience anymore? Like, I haven't seen it. Like, so I'm not judging it on that. But like,
I
honestly,
watched
it's
the
like,
first episode.
does Netflix just go, this many people checked it out in 2 weeks? Cancel it. Like, how are you
I
supposed
guess.
to like? It's ridiculous what they do with their shows. Ridiculous. You got it. Like,
Dude.
You gotta let
Cowboy
a show
Bebop
breathe.
wasn't structured well though. It
they
wasn't
cancel
structured
Parks and
well.
Rec right now if it came out the way it did season 1. They'd cancel
Oh,
it. We would have never
100%.
gotten this. We would have
Yeah,
never gotten
that's
the
true.
brilliance. You know what I'm saying? That show became. Just saying.
Well, this happens with movies all the time. Well, at least back in the day, they'd flop and
They-
then
they
they come back around with a
accelerated.
cult following, you know?
Yeah, but it accelerated. See, the problem with that show for me, and just watching the first episode, the tone of it did not work with what they were trying to do. The music is fantastic. Do not get me wrong. That music is gorgeous because it's still the same guy that did the score for the anime.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. But the way they're trying to rush through these stories, the stories that they're telling didn't really mesh with what they were trying to do. And they made Vicious like terrible. Like Vicious shouldn't hardly be in this show, like at all. Like he needs to show up at scary times when he does scary things. Like
Well,
he
they
did.
didn't want to just do the anime.
And I get
live
it. I don't want
action.
you to do. I didn't want them to do a carbon copy of it. I understand that. It's just the way that it was presented. The Jet is probably the best character in it because he nails it. But then they made
probably the best character.
Yeah, they made him a black character, and then they made him a deadbeat father. I cannot stand that. That irritates the
Well, it's
crap
not
out
that
of
he's a
me.
dedebeat dad. It's just that
It's just it feels
he's
they
a
shouldn't have put a
disgraced cop,
daughter
so
in.
he's
Right.
he
But they shouldn't have done that. He doesn't need to have that. He already had that arc where he's sad on his own. He doesn't need like a family to show that. There are a lot of nuances in this, that were missed in the show setting. And I was just going by the first episode. I was like, ooh, you got this tone all off. It is all off. And I knew what was coming. And I'm tired of just sitting and watching 10 hours and wasting my time watching the rest of it because I don't want to nitpick it. We don't try to make things anymore. We just own property. They own the rights to this. So now we got to do it. So committee's like, we gotta have Faye, we gotta have Jet, we gotta have Spike, we gotta have Ed, you know, and we gotta put him in this certain way, and all of them have to be in the same episode. Like Faye didn't need to be in the first episode at all, and it's kind of just little things. They changed Gran and how Gran was supposed to be in a character, and I get it. You want representation in things, but you don't have to make. It just didn't feel right the way they presented it, the way it was put out, and all those damn Dutch angles when it's Battlefield Earth, where you're just looking at everything weird. That's just me. I wanted to know how you felt about it. Brooks.
I'm a little unclear. Did you like the show?
No, not really.
Okay, yeah, it kept kind of going back and forth. Like maybe he liked it.
Not really. Not really.
Brooks, your thoughts?
I was
That
just asking.
pretty good. I liked it. That was an interesting take on the show. It kept, close to it. It used a lot of story elements. I liked the Mad Perot episode a lot. I thought they made his character like especially good. I think.
Cool.
Okay.
I mean,
So
it's not,
live action is
it's
better.
not the anime. Like the anime is always kind of like it's kind of on a pedestal.
high
I thought it was an interesting telling. And I'd like to see a second season if they'd have made it.
Yeah, it's canceled.
Like all the characters, I think were done really well.
This damn cancel culture.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a comic too, so I wonder what that means. I mean, I guess we get like 4 issues.
Like we
and it's
haven't
done.
even gotten the Dan Waters book yet. It's like next
Yeah.
week, I think, or something. Like, come on.
That sucks.
And I'm going to read it just because it's Dan Waters,
Yeah.
and I like Cowboy Bebop, but I haven't seen that show, so I'm sure there's going to be
I
some
haven't watched it
nuances
yet
I'm
either.
missing. So
Is there
Something funny I seen the other day, like it's a TV commercial for My Pillow, with Mike Lindell,
Yeah.
and he opens up, he's like, "Hey, Mike Lindell from My Pillow here. Cancel culture has affected me and a lot of the people." And it's just so weird. He just throws that in the beginning of his commercial for like no
He's
reason.
trying to sell pillows, man, and he's lost all that business. They took a lot of business from him, man. He was selling at Walmart and like Walgreens and all that stuff. They pulled all that junk. So he's just selling it how he can now.
trunk of the car?
Wasn't he using infomercials in the beginning anyway?
yeah, I
I
think
think it was like an
Yeah, they were.
infomercial product.
They were. Yeah.
So you guys watch a lot more anime, it sounds like, than I do. Is there a way to adapt it? Because I have not heard of a fucking
No.
single adaptation, whether it's a film
Alita Battle
or
Angel was
garbage.
pretty good.
Fucking
Alita's great.
Death
I will
Note
say
was
that.
horrible.
Yeah. Alita was great.
Okay.
There were Speed Racer if you're really high or really
Speed
drunk.
Racer is really good.
It's,
And
it's
I
the
have-
Wachowskis, and
I did
freaking
one
nuts.
time watch it while eating mushroom pizza.
That's why it was good.
Yeah, it's trippy, man.
Really
It's
good.
freaking trippy.
All right.
There
I'll
are
give that
no
one
good
another watch.
adaptations. They need to just not do that.
Just don't do it. Death
I-
Note is a
What about
joke.
Dragon Ball Evolution?
That shit was fucking
Yeah, that's the
garbage.
best ever.
All
Oh,
that shit in
man.
theaters and walked out.
James Marsden was
Dra-
freaking Piccolo.
Here's the
How
thing
dare
with
you
it.
bring up that movie's
Dragon
name?
Ball Evolution is the first fucking film that I pirated that made me fucking feel like I got cheated.
Yeah,
That's
You
what you
did.
deserve.
I was like,
I remember me and Robbie watched it together. Like
God,
he'd rented it or something, and like we were so excited. Like, yeah, finally a Dragon Ball movie. And like we sat and watched it, like, damn, that was bad.
dude, I
Yeah,
was
this fucking Goku, this awesome
weird,
Japanese
man.
character. Let's make him a white random teenager sophomore in high school.
oh, what the
That's
fuck
so
was Justin
bad.
Chatwin doing? Because I've seen him act well. What the fuck
He's
was
in Shameless. He
doing?
does really well in Shameless.
What the fuck
I
was
have no
he
clue why
We
he was in
honestly-
It's probably the scare.
Me and Brooks, we were like, dude, Spike is Piccolo
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Chow Yun
We were
Fat
pumped.
is
Yeah,
Master
it was-
Roshi. Like, this
yeah.
movie's gonna be badass.
Oh man.
so bad?
The
They-
Matrix. The
Well,
Matrix.
you know we're
does-
gonna have to
does
do that
freaking
one
Dragon
day.
Ball better.
We
Man
will.
of
We'll
Steel.
all give it like ones and
Yes.
0.5.
Man of Steel is like high art.
This is a Super Dragon Ball Evolution.
Jesus.
This is a Super Dragon Ball Evolution level
It's
2.
so hard to translate video
We haven't
games
taken even
and
beyond that.
animes
Super freaking
into
Mario
live
Brothers.
action, right?
Well, that's my thing too. They video games. I think video games are just as difficult, if not more. Like, what's your
Yeah.
favorite video
Yeah.
game movie? Mine is Street Fighter. That's
It's
not a good movie.
No, that's a
movie,
horrible
yeah.
film.
Mario
I
Brothers is
love
not a good
them.
movie.
Mortal
my
Kombat.
favorite.
Yeah.
Not a
Not
good
a
movie.
good
Oh,
movie.
It's fun.
It's
Yeah.
fine. They're fun movies. I
The
like
first,
them.
Damn.
the first Silent Hill is probably the best film that's an adaptation of a video
Yeah.
game. It's
Never
still not
played it.
great.
Resident
it's-
Evil.
No. Shut your mouth.
See, I don't think so.
Shut your mouth.
See,
I'm just
that's
it's the
things
fact
like
that we're
that.
having to stretch to get there. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
man.
Jay
like-
Strick, Jay Strick. The way, okay, the fact that you would even
Assassin's
bring up
Creed.
the fact that you would even bring up Resident Evil is why I question your appreciation for horror movies sometimes, right?
Resident
Because like
Evil.
Calm
if you
down.
are
You
any
brought up
kind
evolution.
of familiar, if you're familiar with zombie films and you like Resident Evil, like come on.
The chick's hot.
I mean, he ain't lying.
Watch Return of the Living Dead. Chick's hotter.
I've seen it. I was there.
Also not lying. Yeah.
Anime
Yeah,
films that are in anime are really good. Like Conqueror of Shambhala from Full Metal Alchemist, really good. Dragon
Oh
Ball.
yeah,
The
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Dragon
surprised
Ball
they haven't done
films are
A
good.
live action Akira yet.
Yeah. Is
They
it the
don't-
What's
they
his
don't
name?
need
Supposed
to.
do that. What was his name?
Waititi
Yeah,
was
they did.
going to do it. I don't know if he still is. And then Del Toro was going to do it for a bit. They've always been trying to do it.
Jordan
And I
Peele
think
said
that's
he
the
was
one
doing
thing our world has gotten right is that nobody's done it yet.
that. Yeah.
I think
Because
if they
they're
want to do
running-
Akira, they should do it as a series, like actually like follow
Yeah.
the books.
Yeah.
I don't want to see
HBO.
that.
They messed it up.
Even the movie itself, if you're familiar with the books, you're like the movie is still amazing, but it's like it doesn't have that same scope and
No.
impact.
It's a very
you know?
condensed version of the story.
For sure.
I have to agree with Twitch when he says Sonic is way better than it has any right to be, but it's still not a good. Sonic is an
It's not
enjoyable
what's the right.
film in the same way that Mario Brothers or Street Fighter. Like you have to find the humor and the ridiculousness of it in order to appreciate Sonic.
Yeah.
But it is better than it has any right.
Did you see the Sonic 2 trailer yet?
Yes.
I
That
saw
actually
it.
looked kind of
Yeah, it looks kinda
knuckles,
good.
bro.
It looks so 90s,
Yeah.
like Flubber era.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I love it. I haven't seen
Something
the first
about
one,
it.
but Knuckles as Idris Elba, and then fucking Tails. What the fuck? man?
Yeah.
Oh,
Knuckles
man.
looks badass though, to be honest with you. Jim Carrey though, seems like he would be really fucking obnoxious in that movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jim Carrey.
Well, I mean, he's
Yeah.
not always. He's
And
got.
he's
Okay,
got that mustache now.
you remember when he was trying to win an Oscar for like a long time?
Yeah.
Truman
So, like,
Show. Yeah.
Look at his career.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Look at the
Yep.
path of his career, man. Isn't that weird? That's an interesting,
stretch.
that's an interesting story.
Nicolas Cage is the same.
Yes,
Cage is
another.
like,
Yes,
what?
I know. This
What?
dude won an Oscar.
Yeah. And now does anything. Absolutely
I mean, he
anything.
started out like Ace Ventura and The Mask.
The man bought a yeah.
Dude, the
true.
mask.
Damascus.
Dumb and
That's-
Dumber.
Favorite
love
Jim
Dumb
Carrey
and
film? Manny.
Favorite Jim Carrey film? Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
That's a good one.
Nice.
That's a
a
good one.
fucking really good
Yeah,
movie.
it's
That
a
movie
great movie.
fucking.
Mess you up, bro.
I watched that
It's
movie while
It's
getting
very
back
trippy.
together in my early 20s. I watched that movie while getting back after a bad breakup with an ex-girlfriend. Getting back
Oh,
together
yeah.
and we watched that. It was too real,
Deep.
bruh. It was too fucking real. I was on that couch and I just kept thinking, God damn it. You fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just really weird. What about you, Jay Strick?
I'm not the biggest Jim Carrey fan, if I'm being honest.
The number 23, huh?
No, I mean, what's coming to my mind is like Liar, Liar. I don't know. It's just
Liar,
it's
Liar's a
not
pretty
that good.
movie.
It's a good movie.
Okay, that's fine. I Joe mentions Cable Guy. I really like Cable Guy.
Cable Guy.
I like Cable
yeah.
Guy too. That was the first movie in the first weekend I worked at Hollywood 16.
Yeah, I
That was
remember
the
that. Yeah,
Cable
that's
Guy.
nice. What about you, Jelani? What's your favorite Jim Carrey?
Oh, there's a lot, man. He's got a lot of good movies. I'd say like
Riddler.
Yeah.
Batman
no,
Forever?
well, Riddler's
Somebody-
good, Batman Forever, but no, it'd be Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and
Yeah.
Dumber for
Dumb
me.
and Dumber
a good one.
solid. Yeah.
Like, you ever heard the most annoying sound in the world?
That's you.
I love that movie. Like, burst me out.
Mock.
With, like,
Yeah.
Ing.
yeah, Bird. It's that and like Ace Ventura.
Sorry.
I mean, Ace Ventura is awesome. I mean, it's like Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn's Finkel. I love the reveal of it and how he's like, dude, it's so great. And like that little stupid part. But it would be Dumb and Dumber, just Dumb and Dumber in general. It's they play off with each other so well, and they never were able to replicate it.
Oh, they
How
kept
could
trying
they-
to.
they
They did a
really
prequel
did.
for God's sake.
But Dumb and Dumber is still the tops, like Mask too. there's so many. There's so
about you,
many,
Brooks?
but Dumb and Dumber.
I'd probably say The Mask. I liked The Mask a lot back. It's been,
Yeah.
it's been
You
a long
liked
time
Cameron
since I watched
Diaz,
it.
young man. You didn't like The Mask.
I don't like The Mask.
You know, thinking about it in retrospect, that's one of the best comic book movies of the 90s.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
A lot of
it
us
is.
always forget that that's a comic book.
Yep.
It was actually supposed to be like a really super violent comic book too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I've
'cause,
never
like,
actually
I
read
think
it,
like
but
you know the
it's
cartoony aspects of it
Yeah.
were played to be like real life.
Yeah.
Well,
So
Ipkiss, if I'm remembering correctly, Ipkiss dies early, and then it's the cop, the middle-aged
yeah,
cop
he's like
that
a
shaves
more
him,
psychotic guy.
and then
who's the
he's
actual-
fucking crazy and he kills everybody.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
nuts out.
yeah.
Dick
He's done
Tracy's
some
one that not a
weird
lot of people
movies,
remember.
man.
That's a good one.
Dick
Breathless
Tracy was pretty
Mahoney.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
He did the
Uh,
Grinch. I forgot he did the Grinch.
Yeah, my favorite Jim Carrey movie. I mean, it's probably like Dumb and Dumber, or The Cable Guy. As far as his more serious ones, I do like The Truman Show.
The
Oh,
Truman
Michael
Show.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I like Ed better though, the one with Matthew McConaughey. Do you remember that one? About
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
these
I
are the
watched
early
that.
days where like
Jenna Elfman.
Yeah.
this reality TV was kind of like still
Like,
like a new
yeah.
novelty.
And now it's just
novelty.
normal.
Yeah, it's just everything is I eat it up, man.
Yep.
We all have our reality shows that we like to watch.
Kitchen Nightmares.
Did you
Hell's
ever watch
Kitchen.
Man on the Moon?
Drag
Jim
Race.
Carrey?
Yeah, Man on the
I love
Moon
Man
is-
on the
Yeah,
Moon.
that's a good
It's
one.
all-
It's good. It's a little long.
okay.
Andy Kaufman is. Well,
Sad.
he played him
They're
well. He
playing
was a-
it too like they're repeating too much that we
Yeah.
already know. If you watch a good documentary about
right.
Andy Kaufman,
It's things you don't know about.
Man on the Moon is just like a poor act. Like I don't know,
Right,
man. There's something
poor
weird about
version
it.
of the documentary. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He's,
They just do too many of the scenes that we're familiar
it's
with.
beat for beat.
They do them like they try to do it like it's almost like it's Gus Van Sant doing Psycho.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Shot
saying, or
for
something?
shot.
It's weird. It's a weird bit. Like bringing Jerry Lawler and David Letterman.
I still
back.
like it. I still like
I mean, I
it.
still like it too because it's also got a really good soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know? And then REM, who did the song Man in the Moon or Man on the Moon, did a new song for it, The Great Beyond, which I love that song. So anyway,
Weird stretch.
weird stretch. Twitch keeps asking, has anybody seen the new Halo trailer for the Paramount Plus series?
No, but I did
I
watch
didn't know they were doing
Nightfall.
a Halo series. I've been playing the shit out of some Halo Infinite though. I'll tell you that. The game's dope.
All right, son. Get on
Of
that.
course, it's
plug.
on Paramount Plus.
Speaking of
Of course
dope,
it is.
speaking of dope, it's time for show and tell. We're starting with Jay Strick. Show us what you've got.
Picked up some movies recently. Black Christmas.
Which one?
The original, my guy.
You need the 2006, man.
Scream. With 1, 2, and 3, weird stretch Target. It was like $10, so can't beat that, right? The 40th anniversary of the Evil Dead comic.
Cool. Nice cover. Is that John Bolton cover?
Yes. And then I forgot I had this. This is like some variant hardcover for the Umbrella Academy. It's super cool though.
Yeah, it's nice, man.
Yeah, it's real nice. Big Gerard Way fan. So that's what I got.
Nice showings and tellings.
Thank you.
Brooks, you're up next. Show us what you've got.
picked this up a little while back. It's the first volume of The Lonely Wolf Man and the Cub Boy.
Nice.
Very cool.
My father was the best assassin.
I keep building up my my manga library. I've got this too.
Oh yeah.
Dirty Pan.
Yeah,
Oh,
I like this one. It's like a different, interesting kind of take on the character.
I got something for you then, if you're into that.
Oh, you got a dirty pair for him?
Yeah. It's called Dirty Sanchez.
Like, I don't know what that is. Stop trying to confuse me. And I got this. This is like a thing I've had like for a long time.
The book of
Ever
Christmas.
since I was a kid. It's a book of Christmas stuff. Like it's got like a bunch of Christmas stories. It's got a Christmas Carol is in here.
Nice.
But yeah, it's like it's a neat book that I've had. Like my aunt found it and gave it back to me like earlier this year.
That's
It
cool.
like has like information on like different Christmases and how different cultures celebrate Christmas and stuff.
That's cool,
It's just
man.
a neat Christmas book.
Nice thing to sit around and have some cider and some cookies and milk and
Yeah.
Read some
Hi,
Charles
Coco.
Dickens. And top it off, I've got this. This is a little Mickey Mouse plush. I think he was supposed to be like the Mickey Christmas Carol one because he has the little tails.
Yeah, I used to have that. That's the Hardy's one,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I don't remember. I've had it since I was like little, and this is the mini.
nice.
Okay.
It's the end mini. She used to have a bow, but my sister like tore it off, and it's lost now. But
Yeah. I remember having those.
and that's all, folks.
Nice. Very nice stuff,
Cool,
man. All right, next up, me, Rockin' Robbie, show and tell. Show us what you've got. All right, well, I'm building up my Daniel Klaus library. And so I got Poussey recently. Really excited for that.
Cool.
Then I got Like a Velvet Glove cast in iron. These are all mostly, these two are from like 8-Ball. But like he would redo certain things. Like to make the graphic novel, he would add things and edit things. And so it is essential to have the graphic novels, even if you do have the complete 8-Ball. And then I got some ones that I haven't read yet, but I got David Boring, which I have never read this one. I've read those other two, but I've never read this one. So David Boring seems pretty cool.
Sounds
Flip through it.
boring.
Yeah. And then this one I'm really excited for, but this is Death Ray. And this is like kind of his
Those guys are
superheroes.
cool.
It's kind of like
That's
his
wild.
superhero book, but Daniel Klaus can't do like just a traditional superhero book. So it's really cool, man. I'm really excited to dig in this and start covering some of these for the channel. So that's cool. The new
Nice
issue.
shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Just
Thought it was
nice.
appropriate for Muppet Christmas Carol.
Pretty much the same, yeah.
Yeah. So the new issue of By the Horns comes out pretty soon, and in the back of it, there's a nice little pull quote from me, which is really cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rockin',
cool,
it says
dude.
Robbie Billups, Pop Culture Philosophers. By
You're
the
a comic
Horns is
book
one of the
man.
best-
Wow.
Yes. And my quote
You're
is-
quoted, dude.
Yes.
Well done.
And Station to Mike the Voice Matthews. Just a random act of Christmas cheer and kindness. I told him the other day I wanted to collect all the Total Justice figures on card. So I wound up with a Black Lightning.
Nice.
Look at that weird
Yeah.
stretch of a Black Lightning costume from the
Yeah,
90s.
he's
You remember
some
that?
weird colors,
These
yeah.
figures, I love them because everybody's like, they're all like just so weirdly posed. It's so extreme. And
How
then,
many are there?
There's a handful, man. There were like 2 waves, if I remember. Then they
Okay.
kind of repackaged them as JLA figures, and they continued a little bit there. But I had this one when I was a teenager. Glad to have this one back, but it's the Connor Hawk Green
I
Arrow.
remember that
Those are
one.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to
that's-
have the OG squad.
That's what I really like about these figures is that this is from the Grant Morrison JLA era.
Yeah.
So these were the figures that were produced during that era. I got the Huntress and Parallax already. Got a Superman on the horizon, the mullet Superman.
Yeah.
So very excited for that. So that was my show and tell. And next up will be Manny. Show us what you've got.
All right, so I told Robbie I thought I had one in a bin somewhere, So there's my
Cool.
Oh
Nice.
my
Jaws.
god.
Jaws.
and it turns out I have two, so I'm gonna send that one over to you, Robbie. Then you'll have a Jaws then too.
Oh hell yeah!
There. So I got that.
James Bond, yeah.
I picked up a whole bunch of shit on Whatnot this week. So little Janine Melnitz with the
Nice.
fear effect.
I had that
Yeah.
ages ago. Yeah.
Another
Janine's got it, bro.
Chrome Dome because he was in the lot, I guess. Baxter, I know Robbie's got one with the wings. I've never found one in the wild.
I'm gonna
loose
tell
with the
Mike.
wings.
I was like, we got to find some Baxter Stockman wings,
Oh,
man.
dude, I need one. And for the duck, for the duck guy.
Ace
no,
duck,
like,
yeah.
Ace Duck, yeah.
Fugitoid. Is this Napoleon Bonafrog or is this Genghis Frog?
Yeah.
It's Genghis Frog.
That's Genghis.
Frog. Genghis
Yeah.
Frog. Sewer surfing Mikey.
Nice.
Yeah. They're making a neck of that one.
Yeah, they're doing some sick ones.
Yeah.
Some of the NECAs lately, at least the Target ones, I'm not a big fan of the coloring. Like I think Mondo
You
Gecko
don't like the
looks
Yeah,
Karate
it's
Kid
like
ones?
this.
You don't think they're a weird stretch? Oh, California Raisins.
California.
Yes.
Raisins.
Hardee's, man.
Hardee's, baby. Fuck Hardee's.
The fucking Puerto Rican Winston. I don't know when
What the hell
Winston
is
was
that?
Puerto Rican, but that's what he looks like.
Bruh.
Dude,
He's light skinned.
It's like a race car driver.
Yeah.
It's like I know I bought weed at a bodega from this dude. Like I know I've done it.
Oh my
I know I have. And he spins his wrong hand. Yeah, spins his little hand for his nunchucks.
Wow.
Boys.
I need to get a zip tie that fits in here, but this is the talking city sewer turtles,
You get that weird gimmick.
Dang,
man.
you got a nice little
yeah.
haul.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got a bunch of books, but this was probably the coolest one I picked up. The Black Cape Collectibles exclusive Red Mother 1
It's a
John
cool
Jang cover. Isn't that
Wow.
dope? Isn't that
Yeah,
dope?
it does
Crazy.
look dope. Yeah, it does. Uh-huh.
Because I'm trying to get more into anime and manga and stuff. Full Metal Alchemist
Hey.
Okay.
on
Okay.
DVD. Not Brotherhood, but I actually like this one better because I like Conquer of Shambhala. And then Walkabout. And there's a whole bunch more stuff, but it's all here. Yeah. The freaking Whatnot is addictive. Don't let your friends get started. And if they do get started, follow Chamorro Cinema so they can finally approve my fucking seller profile. And yeah, so
Are you trying to get on there?
I am trying to get on
I
it.
heard like cool things about it. I'm thinking
Yeah,
about it
it's
too.
dude, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
It's basically
because-
like an online shop, right?
Yeah, so it's a live stream, but they you can buy right on the stream, and it's not like a claim sale on YouTube where like you have to hit claim and hope they saw your thing first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or get your payment. It's all done right in the app. And because you get to know people and you get to know their names, it becomes super competitive and you overpay for shit because you're just like, I just want to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's got that. It reminds you of your failings as a human being and your dependence on rampant consumerism.
Jesus.
You know, so I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I
love
heard
it.
it's hard to kind of get approved to be like actually on there.
Yeah, Rogue Trader though, if he's still in the chat, he's the official presser now for Whatnot. So Whatnot will be using his
Okay.
services. And then
Very cool.
Jaren.
Hey, that's my
Jimmy.
boy.
Yeah.
Jiren-aru.
And yeah.
It's from Dragon Ball, Robbie.
Dragon Ball Super.
I know that.
I know that,
He
Strickland.
doesn't-
Is that it?
Yeah, that's got to be it, or I'm going to keep going.
That's the Napoleon Bonafrog.
Oh,
Yeah.
there he is. I want
He's
him.
horned.
I'm sorry, what
He's
is that
a
from?
horned frog.
Oh,
It's from Teenage
Ninja
Mutant
Turtles,
Ninja
man.
Turtles.
Okay.
oh
Teenage
shit, I thought
Mutant Ninja
SWAT, I
Turtles.
thought SWAT cats.
Oh, that'd
I
be
like
cool.
They make
Cats.
SWAT Cats figures?
They did.
I think they did. Yeah.
They do
and
the
they-
jet?
They're big
Yeah, they
and
did
bulky.
I think they're pretty expensive. I think it's really
Yeah,
expensive.
I don't even remember SWAT Cats figures.
Yeah,
I love
we never
SWAT
really
Cats.
got them here. We never really
I
got
want the
'em.
Radical
Biker Mice
Squadron.
from Mars figures, man. That's what I want.
I take that back. They were behind the counter at KB Toy Store in Madison Square Mall. They were there.
Oh yeah,
And
we'll
I
just
never
head
got
up there after the stream and pick some up.
Yep.
Some biker mice.
Visit the ground.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Biker Mice from Mars.
Yeah.
Very
I got the boat coming from Pirates of the Dark Water too. So I'm like,
Nice.
dude.
I had the main character from that show. I cannot remember his name. I had him years ago, and had I known, I'd have kept that figure. I swear now. I
Oh,
wish
dude.
I had it now.
They need to revive that series and finish it.
Yeah,
Oh, that
they
was
do.
such-
Darkwater was awesome.
All right,
That-
Delaney, you're
Power
next.
for Darkwater.
Show us what you got.
Okay.
Take it
Nice
home,
poster.
baby.
Nice calendar, bro.
Thanks, bro. That's December. That is Mila de Blasio. I don't know who that is. She's a Sports Illustrated model. Anyway, this is Sandrock.
Elasio.
Blasio, sure. All right, that's my Sandrock. I know you don't like Gundam, but I
like
love
Gundam.
these little mini
That's cool,
figures.
buddy.
So this is three. This is three of the Gundam. What is it? Well, this is Gundam Wing. Sorry, this is Gundam Wing. And then next, I got
You got any
I found that
cards back there?
Hook figure. No, not really. I got this sweet Hood figure, and I decided to find him a cape. So I got him a good wired cape, and I like it. He was in the back corner. I had to take him down because I remember he was a new thing. I got this for like 16. I got the figure for $16 because it's that figure, and I took off this cape, and this cape was terrible. I was like, no, this is ruining that figure. So I had to get the wired cape for it. He's in a good pose. I like him. I gave him new revolvers and everything. And then I got from Mike the What If Captain Kata.
Oh, that looks pretty good.
Just
I like
announced
the-
getting a
it's
mini
filtered,
series
right?
at Marvel starting in March. Captain
Yep.
Carter.
Captain Carter is awesome. She was one of my
gonna
favorite
spin off
characters.
To her own
Is
series?
she really getting her own show?
Then I also
Her own
got her
comic book
stealth
series.
version.
Comic book series, bro. Comic book
Oh.
series.
Yeah. I saw
a
her
comic?
stealth. This is her stealth suit, which I like. I think I like this more. I like the awesomeness of that. Then
You bought two of them fuckers?
well, yeah, I got one that's in a stealth suit and one that's not.
You bought two Peggy Carter action figures.
Yep,
That's
and I'm
That's
also
hot.
gonna get the Hydra Smasher. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm all about Peggy Carter, man. She's hot.
yeah, she's awesome. She can get it. And I compared her to
Got
the
it.
other figures. Yep. That's that Human
Nice.
Torch retro carded figure in the
Oh,
light.
that's pretty cool.
He's
Very
freaking
cool.
baller.
Oh,
I added a flame effect from one of the Power Rangers things for him. He is, yeah. I think this might be my favorite Human Torch. But then I got this one too. And this is the Marvel Select
Holy
version.
shit, that's huge.
oh.
And like,
That's
I
really
love
nice,
the
man.
base. I love all of this. So it's a debate. I
Why
like.
couldn't they just
really
do
like
that
them
in the
both.
94 movie? Whatever,
Yeah.
95.
How easy that would have been. But yeah, that's all I got.
Just hold up the action figure.
Yeah,
All right.
that's all I got.
Good show, everybody. Talking
All right,
about
I'm
Muppet
lying.
Christmas
I
Carol.
have one more thing. Just one. I know.
Oh,
I'm
three
sorry.
Joker.
I got three Joker. I forgot about him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was at GameStop. I saw him. I must have him, and I can't wait to get the other two. Just felt relevant to our Mickey's Christmas.
Are those McFarlane figures?
This is the McFarlane figure with
Nice.
three Jokers. Comes with the crowbar
Spoiler.
and the camera.
Spoiler
Yeah.
if he dies.
Well, this one doesn't die.
That one doesn't.
This one doesn't die.
He's the one that lives.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoiler.
You should read a comic book every once
Oh,
in a while. Strickland. Just kidding. All right. Great conversation tonight. Great back chat. Appreciate you guys being here. Manny, what's coming up? What you got? Tell us about it.
Oh, I've got my top 10 Marvel movies that I was tagged in. That's dropping Wednesday at noon, and beyond that, that's all I got planned. Yeah. So I guess I'll use this time to say, go sub up Cryo Prime. He just launched his channel. He just had a huge Gundam model haul. He's going to be doing speed builds and modifieds and putting LEDs and all kinds of cool shit into stuff. So go check out Cryo Prime
Nice.
and sub him up.
Nice. Jelani, what's up, man? Final thoughts?
Thanks for inviting me for this movie. I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed talking with you guys about films in general anyway, but man, this has been a crazy whacked out year, and to have like such a good positive film for us towards the end of this year to watch, it was really, it warmed my heart. So
Oh,
yeah, thanks guys for having that. And let's see, follow us of course at the PCP Army on Facebook. I do have Cultural Pop, the place to talk nerd. It's still a thing. And then there are a few other things that I do on Facebook too. So I don't do Twitter or Instagram. So, follow me, find me on Facebook if you can. We can talk.
Brooks, you got anything coming up here on YouTube?
I do not.
Really? You don't know anything that you got coming up on YouTube?
That's right. The horror show with the Dylan Man. Doing the what was that movie? Black Christmas?
Black Christmas.
Black Xmas.
2006 version. The first time they remade it. They remade it again a couple years ago. Isn't that weird? Anyway.
Yeah. I
this
heard
movie's-
that there's going to be a special guest, super secret, on this upcoming one.
Yeah. It's going to be a
right?
good show tomorrow night on Dylan's Horse. Yes, it's Brooks.
I
It's
thought it
going
was
to be a
Chloe.
good show tomorrow night on Dylan's Horror Show. Jay Strick, final thoughts?
Metal. Hey, man. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hope you had a good Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa's not, has it happened?
It hasn't happened yet.
happened yet.
Hanukkah's over.
Hanukkah. That's what I meant.
Hanukkah's over.
All right,
Christmas
nice. What are you doing? All right.
What a weird bit.
Dylan's Horse Show tomorrow night, Black Christmas 2006. Sunday night, Rockin' Robbie Live. I'll be talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife. We'll be doing a DC comic book for DC in the 80s. It's going to be Superman teaming up with Santa Claus. That's going to be a fun stretch, man. And then join us next week for PCP Movie Nights, the final one of the year. Final one on Friday night because we're moving to Monday nights in 2022. But we're going to be talking about the Bill Murray classic Scrooged, another unconventional take on, what's it called? A Christmas Carol. We're dipping out.